Ladies and gents, welcome back to another week of the EGL Open Series. We're getting into the home stretch, and it's week number 8. I'm joined by Toby Campbell once again, as Fru decided to enter. It lasted maybe a little bit longer than I would have actually been surprised at, but unfortunately has crashed out, so not sure if that was worth it. But nonetheless, Toby is here with me. Toby, excited for more gameplay on Gears 5 this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to give it to Alex though. Like, he's got further than
love
me
the
so
commitment.
far. Very quickly, indeed, his first week back. But he played against Elliot Darko and the team he was playing with in the first round, which was awesome to see. I was watching on through stream. Sadly, though, he then played literally the best team in Europe second round. So you know what can you do? What can you do?
It's tough. Look, I mean, I swear Elliot has been playing with his team for like weeks at this point. Fru's putting in a pickup team, and he's beat them already. Elliot, we need to see a bit more from you in that one. But honestly, it's nice to see everybody competing, though. Of course, another good amount of teams coming through this week. And we are slowly getting towards the end of the second split of the Open Series. Finals dates are going to be announced soon, by the way. I know this. So I will let you guys sort of figure out when it's going to be. But we will be announcing very, very shortly. And, well, let's get on with today's games. Of course, we are to the quarterfinals, and we'll continue in the same vein as we have done consistently over the past 7 weeks. And into week number 8, here is your bracket. Apollo 24. Patrick and the Fossil was the name of Fru's team. In the round of 16, Apollo 24 dealt with them, and we'll be going up against the Rubber Ducky Mafia. 3 times ready against Playing for Fun. Maradona against 3 times Chid, and HPJC still awaiting a team in their quarterfinal. I believe we're going with Maradona against 3 times Chid, so we will be getting into that game very, very shortly. But it's still, for me, it's, we've got a couple of storylines this week. Changes in the Maradona camp. There was potential unrest in the HPJC camp. And there's a few different things happening here, Toby, isn't there?
Few different things. I think very quickly something to mention is Breakers actually had a team name change. It's the same team as we've seen with Power and Zool joining him and Saki, but they're actually called Falcon and the Eagles this week, and a huge upset so far is they've lost out to Playing for Fun, which is Mantis's team. And so that was really unfortunate for them. I think it was a 5-2 result in the end. So it's been a long time actually that Breaker and the boys have lost out in round of 16. They've usually got to the quarters at least, or to the semi-final. So a little bit disappointing for them in their week performance, but very nice for Playing for Fun, right? They'll be up against 3x Rowdy next in another quarterfinal off stream.
Yep. It's interesting, though, isn't it? It's when you're at that point, if you're one of these, obviously, slightly bigger teams, it's a best out of 1 up until quarterfinals, and it can fall that kind of way. It's a bit of a gauntlet. It's one of those things where things can go wrong. You lose a map. It can happen to anybody. Unfortunately, it's happened to Breaker's team this week once again. But yes, okay, let's keep an eye on this other team. But it would have been nice to see Breaker and the boys carrying on through. But this game that we have coming up first should be interesting. As mentioned, Maradona making a slight roster change, so that's going to be interesting, at least to see if that has made much of a difference. Are we expecting it to make much of a difference, Toby?
Maybe potentially, because right now Maradona have been kind of locked in as that third place seed, or rather the top 3 European team, I should say, and it's kind of their only competition really has been HPJC and of course Apollo 24. But the question is, will the team be okay just with this roster change? I think so. I was actually scrimming with Toomey last night. He's a great player. He wins all his 1Vs, usually plays home street and whatnot. And I'm sure he'll do just fine. I think the team will do okay. But of course, if you look at it on paper, Marco has been a teammate with these guys and really a family member almost with the fellow Italians for a long time. And I'm just hoping that Toomey can kind of slot into this very fast-paced roster that really goes off instinct oftentimes, it seems like, with very quick comms when they do occur. I'm wondering if he'll be able to slot in and perform as good as Marco and keep that team performance as high as you need it, really, to try and bring down one of these teams like HPJC or Apollo 24.
Yeah, I think that might be something that, it might balance them out. Maybe they need somebody to maybe slow them down just a little bit, pacing issues, etc. But I mean, I don't know. Let's see what happens. I was even texting you, like, saying, oh, what's this Toomey guy like, etc., etc. But we are going to get a first-hand look at how good he is on Asylum, which is going to be coming up in a second. But as mentioned to everybody who is hanging around the chat, this is week number 8. Am I getting that right? Like, it's getting to the point now. I'm pretty sure it's week number 8. Isn't week number? No, it is. So we've got 9 and 10 left to go. Man, honestly, there's been so many. It's rolling on. I've had a busy week. Okay, we're going to be heading into the first game in a second. And here we go. We will be heading into Asylum. Let's see if Maradona can maybe make a bit of a push, maybe make a bit of a charge towards the end of the Open Series here. We know they have the talent, just haven't been able to necessarily put it together, but if we can get Pains going, make a charge for that finals once again.
Yep, for sure. I'm sure they'll be playing as fast paced as usual, as we were mentioning. And Little Bounces will be joining Pains on the train tracks here against Astrals and Chid. Of course, it's a slightly new roster, of course. Death Dancer in and out of the VYE roster in different weeks, and Nesteeks has always been there too. But of course, they've lost the teammates, the two VYE members here, and as they've teamed up with Slaps and TJ, have Ricardo and Vision. Now Astrals and Chid will be joining up with them today. Of course, Chid playing on a really good roster, pickup roster. Last week was Zenji and Co. doing really well himself.
Look by Chid. We'll find the kills, and B will be locked in on Asylum. Can they continue this, though? The rest of the team happy to set up and go for the 2-cap, get those points ticking on up. I think it's one of those things when you go up against Maradona, you're like, you don't want to push it too hard, do you? You know they have the ability to sight you down very, very quickly. Pains just about going to get caught out and will be pushed back here by Chid. Nice little crossfire setup. 3 men from Maradona, they're pushing towards B. They're going to force their will and get a hold of this point. But Astrals will find one before going down himself, so at least slows that down just that little bit. Sticks the cup, making the push over towards C. And at least decap here. Everything hanging in the balance at this point as Crisis is going to go down. Well played by Nesteeks. They don't manage to get hold of C. Plenty of pressure here, but ultimately Maradona come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, Chid's team, 3x Chid, have been doing really well so far. They won the initial, now they just need to be careful. Little Bounces has done the absolute sneakiest of plays here. Secret Mana, but then choosing to run past to the members of B, try and go for the overextension. He's actually been spotted now, though, by Death Dancer, aka Rowdy. Mr. Gears EU, that Twitter handle, of course. But question is, will he have support Little Bounces? He will. Toomey, the new player for this roster, is here, but good shotgun so far from 3x Chid, leaving a 2v1 there and a 2v2 on the tracks.
Strauss and Death Dancer are going to go down. So Chid getting a hold of his home hill. That's the only thing that 3 times Chid have to play with yet. Maradona with C and B though. Happy to set up, and it's very often around one of Asylum that we do see a big, quick round, but not this time over, Toby.
No, I think you're right. Usually we do see all-out triple cap opportunities being played out, especially by Maradona, actually. They're usually aggressive on the tracks and then fly from there to the home hill. And maybe we're just having that now, actually, in the back. Chid has been forced to push forward. I believe it's because he's getting pinched quite quickly. Straight into 1v2, though. Bouncing through that doorway. He will be taken down eventually. Maradona still knocking on the door in the back. Pains will find Death Dancer. And as it stands, Maradona will win on points regardless of what happens to this home hill. Nesteeks will surely be taken out now. Maradona take the round back from 3x Chid and take it to make it 1-0.
Yep, nicely done. One of those situations where it was just a ground out round, but Maradona pulled the trigger when they can and advance on forward. No bad start from 3x Chid there, though. A couple of decent little moments, but plenty more gears to be played. Boltock's going to go down towards the tracks for Maradona and mirrored from 3 times Chid, so no surprises yet. Sometimes we do see a very early drop shot come on through, which we live for, but at the same time, not this time. Maradona, though, looking to continue off where they left here. It was a bit of a passive start from both teams, though, has to be said. Boltox may once again make that a little bit slower, unless a pick can be found. Maradona putting a lot over towards B. Aggressive towards the tracks. Chid just trying to put bullets in to help his teammate, but in that situation, he's pushing a 1v2. It's nothing, and then gets taken down himself. Well played by Maradona. Would like to see Chid maybe get a bit more aggressive there.
Yeah, I think perhaps holding the Boltok out a little bit too long there, leaving essentially what seemed like two 2v1s, right? Instead of just 2 strict shotguns fighting back at the same time, not allowing any damage advantage to build up for Maradona there. Now, 3 of them are on the home street, 1 hiding in the middle for Maradona. This could be a pinch any moment if they're not careful. In fact, Chid has kind of read that there. He knows there's one pushing him on his home street. Strauss and Co have chosen to push on forward instead. Oh no, Chid has fallen. Death Dancer has picked one back though. All coming down to these shotgun fights in the home hill. Nesteeks with the mismantles, not going to help. Sea Hill, though, is saved as Death Dancer remains alive and holds on for now.
He's just about going to hold on. Toomey, though, on his debut. Interested to see how he does. Of course, as mentioned, Maradona very much in the top 3 teams. You know, you have them there. You would also have sort of Savage camping up there, but I mean, God knows what's going on with them at the moment. Are they even here this week?
Yeah, that's the thing. Savage Camping and VYE have basically had a bit of a mix match, if you will. They've kind of joined rosters, if you will. Storm Domination blinking for a second there. But yeah, Crazed, of course, has apparently stopped playing for the time being in Gears Esports, which is unfortunate to hear about. But it's left TJ and Slaps actually looking for 2 new teammates, which are actually 2 members from VYE. Of course, that's Ricardo and Vision joining those 2, so it's kind of like an all-star crossover between VYE and Savage Camping as a result. And then, of course, the other 2 is in front of us, right? 3x Chid, Death Dancer, in and out of the VYE roster, and Nastique's here as well. They're playing with Astrals and Chid today.
There you go. We've had a bit of a roster mania, haven't we?
Yeah, could add a bit more of an insane one based on the rumors.
Yeah,
of course.
So I heard in our little Gears WhatsApp chat that everyone on the Twitch wishes they were in that, eh? Yeah. Anyway, Maradona looking good here. Win on a 1 cap, but bounces a code now, locking B in as well. There's going to be a push over towards A by the boys on 3x Chid, though. Death Dancer going to take a good chunk from Toomey, who's going to find 1. Can he find the second? Not quite. 1 will do, though. Well played by Maradona. They will lock in B, which will be enough to lock in a 2-0 lead here on Asylum.
Yeah, good job from Maradona. And of course, I think if we think back to last week as well, Maradona were having a precarious time, it's safe to say, against Chid. Although, of course, Chid was with a completely different team, pickup roster. And Zenji himself was doing really, really well on track. So I remember speaking to him about it after his game, and they felt really, really great about how they're performing in Asylum. And it was quite unfortunate, actually, because they knew, or Zenji at least mentioned, that Maradona performed so well in the first half that if they just kind of like got 1 more round extra, they would have been the victors, right, in that 5-4 scenario, or could have been 5-3. It's just that Maradona was so dominant in the first half, it kind of made up for the weak second half that they're kind of known for at this point, right, Chris? They need to be able to perform as well in the second half as they do in the first. And as a result, if a team can really do well in the first half against them, leaves Maradona kind of in a risky position.
Yeah, it's one of those that if you're Maradona also, though, you need to feel as if an adjustment has to come through surely here. Bounce is putting down plenty of damage for Pains to try and pick up the kills. The second one, though, was all him. Mystiques will fall. All of a sudden, the aggression over towards A will start coming on through. Chid doing his best to survive. The crossfire comes in. Toomey, well backed up. That's a domination. I don't think Astrals is going to be on. No, they're going to let him push in. And wow, Pains is going to get decimated. All of a sudden, it's maybe something potentially going to happen here for 3 times Chid. And Mystiques on his own will get through and also find the kill. So Toomey will lock in the kill. The domination on its way as well. But very well played by 3x Chid here. They've actually stopped this bleeding somehow. My goodness. That was looking like a domination was about to lock in for Maradona, but very, very well played by 3x Chid. The problem is now is that they're still 70 points behind and have to fight back themselves.
Yeah, Chid and Astrals playing out their minds there to hold on to that one. Unfortunately, though, Chid has missed his shot, misplaced his aim there as Crisis takes him down. Now Crisis is really easy overextension now to try and cap this hill. Death Dancer falling on the tracks. Will anyone reach? Yes, can Astral save the day again? It's a trade. That's actually huge. No one else is there yet for Maradona. Absolute race now for this home hill. 1v3. Can Chid stay alive for now? No, he cannot. Toomey holding his distance, staying wide, ensuring he can't be taken out this time. Maradona finally do lock in the triple cap. Now performing very well in the first half as usual.
Yep, nicely done in the end. Took a while for Maradona to get there, but it always felt like they would lock that in via points or a domination, of course. Interesting to see the grenades put up top, though. I didn't even mention it previously. But it's something different.
Yeah, that's different.
Do you think it's kind of just a bit of a block? Is that one of those? It's maybe. I honestly, sometimes we end up talking about the previous round during this time, and if anything different happens, I sometimes miss it. It's just...
I know. I was too busy thinking about Roster Mania when that was going on. Bad showing from us. I think frag grenades actually though going up top. Yeah, I think it's more along the block lines perhaps. At least it'll incentivize play at the first half, but it means there can't be a drop shot up there, which is probably beneficial to Maradona, if anyone, as mentioned, speaking about how their second halves go up top. Secret Man in the middle. Crisis is there. Finds Nestique's. Great shot into Astrals as well. Meaning, can he match that score, match that kill again? He cannot. Does trade out. Death Dancer double down with bounces. Chid there to save the day. Hectic start on that side of the map so far. Chid with a lovely back A catching out bounces. Holding out the ball talk just a little bit too long there. E-Hill will surely be broken.
Nicely done. Chid and the boys, but at the same time, Nova extensions come through from Tsumi. He will be taken down. All of a sudden, C will go back over towards 3x Chid now. Mystique's trying to stay alive in the middle, not going to happen. Pains will come on through and not quite clean him up, but he is down. Pains now. Don't need to clean that one up. We'll maybe overextend just a little bit. Good shots by Rowdy once again, but here come the rest of the team for Maradona. Pains on the flank over towards top bridge side. Are they going to expect it? Just about. Not able to land the shots. Death Dancer in a bit of trouble here, but as is Pains. Holding a shot and holding his distance very, very well. Astrals is there, though. He will get dealt with. Surely not Pains. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, Rowdy follows, and now all of a sudden C looks like it's going to go over towards Maradona. He'll at least tick this in. Chid has done so well multiple times to deny the domination coming through, but it is still inevitable. Maradona 4-0 up. Time for them to start losing rounds.
Well, I mean, historically, perhaps, but right now they're playing very well. 3x Chid, nothing really seems to be going too right for them. They've just been able to defend, it seems like, the inevitable in a lot of these rounds. But with frag grenades up top, Chris, you know, the E-Hill is there, yes, and there'll surely be a lot of players playing for that location on the initial, but, you know, with no drop shot there, maybe it allows some flexibility now for Maradona to do something a little bit differently. Of course, they love flanking through middle, as we've seen the Secret Mans from Crisis and others so far. And I wonder if they'll be aggressive on the tracks as they've been known to do so in the second half also.
I think you know, the big change is having Tsumi in here. Like, what difference is he going to make on the home side? Straight. It's one of those things. Oh, well, I mean, Pain's going to pick up kills already with the frag grenades. Strals putting a lot of damage down towards Pains, but that grenade coming through is going to be absolutely useless. My goodness.
Yeah.
Pains?
Pains hit the corner of the cover and he just knew he was dead immediately, so he just walked into it and just said, yeah, I'm holding my hands up. That was a mistake and I deserve to die.
Sure, good.
Yeah, that's not like the best player in Europe, as we sometimes refer him to do things like that, but there you go. That's Maradona doing really well in the initial at the start, but not able to hold on to it afterwards. And now 3x Chid in a position now to see what they can do in this round.
Very interesting. Anyway, it is going to be a big reason as why 3x Chid can get themselves in and around E, but they're going to push back through the smoke that Maradona laid down. Little bounces will clean up two. And Pains will clean up another. Mystique's the last man surviving here, and, well, only momentarily. Pains will find the kill. Tsumi will be able to have a free run down this side of the map. All of a sudden, 3x Chid looking like they could be getting 5-0. Pain is going to trade that one away. Death Dancer trying to keep it alive, but 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Maradona can't quite lock it in. 3x Chid just about survive. Mystiques finds 2, Strals finds 1. It always feels like they sort of come alive a little bit when that final push does come on through, but ultimately you're in a bad spot if it comes to that point on you. So not ideal, but Bounces is going to get caught out there. Pain's now going to push on. I mean, there's 3 of them there. Pain's not quite sure that was the play, but Astrals and Co will pick up the point.
Yeah, that wasn't the play what Pains did there. I'm assuming he's just taking it a little bit too easy then. Being really comfortable to see what he can do, right?
Of a we're 4-0 up play.
Exactly, yeah. Just my thinking. Because he knew how many players were coming. The comms were there. The kills came through. He should have been running to his spawn, if anything. And he would be if he was 0-4 down. I'm sure of that. But in any case, 3x Chid just hold on again. They clutch up through their individual skill in the home hell, and they're able to actually keep themselves in this round. And they're not too far off the score, but Maradona can win off 1. Can they push through up top? Can they get the kills in the middle necessary to get the triple cap?
Oh, it's looking unlikely. So 1-win condition of 15. Just holding their home hill here as One overextension's come through from Pains over towards E. That is going to be map number 1 locked in by Maradona. That's going to be a 5-0. Quick and easy on Asylum. I think they'll be quite happy to lock in that 5-0, has to be said. They have notoriously always won every single round of that first half, and then they do start bleeding, but this time round, they get it done in the minimum. Maradona 1-0 up in the series.
Yep, well played from them. Really, really good win for them as well, considering Toomey is straight into the new team. 15 kills, by the way. 15 kills, 3 assists. Was doing his job for sure in the shotgun department. And yeah, because of the new player, because of historically how Asylum has gone in these quarterfinals, I think they'll be very happy with that. And I'm hoping they keep that form up in future on Asylum, to be honest. It's not only against HPJC and Apolo 24 that they've had bad maps on for Asylum, but it's also against a lot of teams, really. I think we've had Breaker's team in the past. We had the pickup from last week, of course, that they've had some struggles on. And the thing is, Maradona, for me, are a team that's probably set up to do really, really well on Asylum. The first half, for me, is the more complicated nature. There can be more flanks through the middle. It can be a lot less cut and dry. The second half, though, you can be super aggressive at top. You can more kind of have that death bally approach where as soon as you win the fight up top, you get map control, you get a straight path to the overextension. I think it really suits their style of play. It's just whether they can actually win out on that initial in the first place and not have to do something crazy recovery due to their individual skill to get through retake and then go for a triple cap. Because, of course, it's clear as day, right? If they get 3 down, they overextend straight away. And try and go for that triple cap. They can make that work for them on Asylum. It's just that initial's a bit weak in the second half at times. They've done a lot better there.
Yeah, it does make sense though, like in the sense of what you're saying, that you would expect them to maybe do a little bit better in that second half, wouldn't you, on Asylum? But I suppose it's very, very tight, that push, isn't it? And teams can sort of sit back and just lance it down where they need to. So I think, there's a couple of different reasons as to why. But nonetheless, they get it done. They will be happy with that. And heading into district map number 2, again, you would probably expect the same sort of result here in the quarterfinal. Maradona do seem a bit of a class above 3x Chid, but I mean, look, they've only been playing together 1 week. Maradona, yes, they have the new pickup in, but it's that same core roster, isn't it, realistically? So you do expect them to go on to advance in the tournament and go up against, I do believe they're on the same side as HPJC. So interested to see if that's going to be the semi-final watch. And of course, Apollo 24, we expect them to probably make that grand final 99 times out of 100 at this point. They're looking so good compared to everybody else. And, I know that you've been maybe speaking to some of the boys on that team, and it just feels as if they're the ones really putting the effort in, week out, and they are reaping the rewards because of that, Toby.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're at a stage of the game in Gears 5 where a lot of the maps are somewhat worked out as general maps, right, and how they play out. Exhibit, you've got your tight corridors, you've got the same initial up top on Asylum, just with, I guess, less numbers across the board. We've gone from 5v5 down to 4v4. Triple caps can be more readily had as a result, right? If you kill 2, that's half the team gone already. It didn't used to be that, right? You didn't have as many, you had more tools, if you will, to try and recover. But the question is, our team's going to carry on practicing like they once were with this new tuning? Practice still matters, right? You can't rely just on your past experience on old maps. Every team is practiced on these maps at this point. They're no longer a new thing, a new strat to work out. We're just playing with new tuning, and we're playing with 4v4 with no live, no respawns. You still have to practice those things, and if you don't, other teams will take advantage in those areas. You can't just rely on your past knowledge anymore.
Yeah, it comes down to practice with your team, making sure you know what you're doing. And I do believe we will find out how Maradona are going to do. Do they know what they're doing on District? I mean, at this point, we kind of agree that they do. Let's see if they can put it into fruition here, though. Up against 3x Chid. Let's see. Can they close it out in 2? Put themselves in a good spot heading into the semi-final.
Yep. That is the question. They've had the nice warm-up for sure for Maradona now. They've played multiple rounds, and they played a very good first map on Asylum. And Pains is flying as per usual in the archway, joined with his partner in crime here, Lil Bounces.
Bouncers will find 2, though. They will advance on through towards C, and now all of a sudden, 3x Chid, you need to win this fight over towards B. Chid has not been doing himself any bad plays, it has to be said. Every single time we've on board with him, he's been playing that one well. Maybe wrong choice of words from myself to kick that sentence off, but nonetheless, Toomey now. We're going to try and see if he can get it done. Can he start lighting it up here for his team? Looking to try and find the kill on the Rowdy. Can't quite lock it in. And he will just about keep his team in this one, although they win the fight over towards C as well. Bounces will get dealt with. Maradona with the aggressive start, but 3x Chid hold on.
Yeah, for sure. Death Dancer still alive here in the cinema. Will back out. Wait for his teammates to get there. Again, Maradona, as soon as they get the opportunity to fly, they do, but they fly straight into Death Dancer's back A there. Very good job from him. Right on Payne's full spread, predicting when the play would come through. Can Crisis clutch up here? He's able to get Death Dancer, but it is a trade in the end as Astralis finds him, and the B Hill remains under 3x control.
So they do lose that fight over towards C, though. So they are sacrificing something. But this is the kind of start we had on map number 1, really, wasn't it? Maradona had to work for the first round. Bounces somehow surviving there. He's going to be able to find the second. Toomey is going to take down Rowdy. Good shots by Chid initially. He should be able to clean this one up. Well held. Just waiting for Toomey to make the push. And all of a sudden, they will keep a hold of C. They needed to as they lose the fight over towards B. Maradona is still very much in control here, Toby.
Yeah, that they are. Lovely rotation. They're able to get B back now. Chid, of course, he was previously at B. And it looks like he'll be playing a little bit more defensive on this home street now. I'll tell you, Chris, Lil Bounce is an extremely fast player. He's been playing plenty of 1Bs recently against my teammate Saitama. And boy, is he a very hard individual to handle in these 1B situations. I wonder if he'll actually get aggressive now against Chid Def too for the triple. Oh, he did.
He did. This one in.
Yeah,
he's done well. Pains pushes through and Astralis gets deleted. Just Pains things to me now, trying to survive. I mean, how on earth has Chid found him there? Fair play. It is a little bit on a nice edge, this one. 3x Chid still within touching distance, but oh my goodness, yep. They're there, Rowdy. Is Astralis next on the chopping block? Yes, he is. The movement just too good. Far too good. Maradona 1-0 up now. Pain's a big reason as to why finding those individual fights going in his direction. Maradona 1 to the good.
Yeah. Good round from them. I think so far for me, Chris, 3x Chid really do seem like a pickup at this point. Yeah, there's some good moments with teamwork, but it seems like just 4 really good individuals playing together at this point in time. It looks like perhaps the practice a little bit lacking, or is it a last minute team potentially just put together because all 4 wanted to play? I wonder. But so far, it just seems like the same storyline, right, as Asylum, where the individuals at different times go off and kind of keep them in the game. They keep clutching up as individuals just to stop triple caps for now, but it doesn't really amount to a round lead or victory or anything like that. So see if they can actually turn things around now against Maradona.
Pain's trying to kick things off for the win over towards Bandstand. Oh, you would have expected that to maybe do a bit more damage there. Unfortunate. Crisis and Toomey will win their gunfights over towards B in the middle of the map. So they will lock in that over towards Cinema at least. Strauss and the Sticks are here though to try and lock C in. Bouncer's going to wait for the reinforcements to come. Now Payne's making the push forward, waiting for his teammate to help. I mean, well, okay. I mean, maybe they were just waiting for Toomey to flank right behind. The distraction tactic comes through perfectly. They get a hold of C, they keep a hold of B. Now A is in their sight, so we can see that it is Payne's making the push over towards that side. Rowdy could do with winning this gunfight. Good shots on the Crisis. That's not getting it done. That's good shots on the Toomey, but the distance was covered very, very quickly. Payne's trying to get something done over towards A. Now has bouncers here for company as well. Some good shots, but we'll have to back on down. And chased the hell out of dodge is Payne's, and he will drop. 3x Chid looking at this overextension over towards C once again.
Yeah, they've held on to their home for now. Crisis is hiding on the right. I think Chid is perfectly aware as a player there. Perhaps given the heads up from his team that they're pushing over to the B hill. Strauss with the break. Can they get to me as well? That'd be really good, as they do need the numbers at this point on the enemy side. Nestique's getting caught out, though. Strauss getting lanced. He's in a lot of trouble here. He's probably going to get downed in this corner in just a second as Bounces goes wide. There's the down, and there's the recovery of the B hill from Maradona. They'll keep the score lead as they cap that up. And Chid might get pinched here on the enemy's home hill too.
Yep, not a good spot for Chid. A lot of shots going to go in. He's going to get pushed out into the gunfire of Toomey. He will find the kill. Payne's Locking seat in. It's been a very long second round. Bouncers will catch Death Dancer off guard. And all of a sudden, 3 times Shed need to back on down, but the thing is, they kind of need to push as well. Strahls backing on down. Well played by Maradona so far, though. They've been patient with their gunfights and patient with the round when sometimes you would... I mean, I don't want to give them any jip for being aggressive. I very much am a big advocate of just flying at people as Pains playing the Secret Man, lets one go by. How is that blind fire hit Chid? But doesn't seem to matter. Overextension over towards C. Comes on through, bounces, trying his best to survive it. B, Strahls had to die there if you're Crisis. They will keep a hold of this, but they also, when they're going to fight over towards their home hill, well played by Maradona. Slower round, but a round they will be happy with nonetheless.
Yeah, it was. It had a slower cadence for sure. I think Maradona are continuing right with their original strategy. If they have the numbers, they will push for that triple cap. They will push the home hill. But again, 3x Chid are able to save themselves from the brink of a loss time and time again. I think what impressed me as well, Chris, is actually the shotgun fights from a number of players there. Rowdy had a really good shotgun fight on the bench, staying alive there while getting crossed. Toomey did really well. I saw him do a mantle bait almost. He pretended to mantle and then went for the left-hand back A. Well played from him. But now we've got a bit of a response here. Maradona placing down the drop shot down in bandstand. So they want to get a little bit more aggressive if they win the initial, which they have been doing. They want to turn that into a much quicker push onto the enemy's home hill. Perhaps that'll help them with their strategy of going all in on triple caps.
Yep. Things may get a little bit quicker here. Like a nightclub over towards bandstand more than anything with the amount of flashes that's coming on through. Ched and Co have to back down. Pains now. It's a free drop shot. That might be a couple of dead people, but actually working out. Oh my goodness me! That's a lot of bodies. Was that the second shot he used there as well? Yes, it was. The first one didn't really find anything, and it's... Oh, it's outstanding for
goodness me.
That's everybody from 3x Ched dying to the young phenom that is Pains. I mean, he took some of his team with him as well, it has to be said, but well played by Pains once again.
He is absolutely ridiculous. It's all, you know, they say I say this, that the meta of the shotgun department, in the shotgun department now is shot holding and pacing your shots, but while most players do just, you know, bot walk, if you will, and just walk to try and time it, Pains just seems to always be timing shots perfectly, his own and his opponents, but also being able to move at the same time. And that in the middle there was a great example of that, a steam train into that. It just seems like if he takes the first shot and he's in a position to one-shot you, he will do it every single time in a very flashy and extravagant, high-skill way. And I think that's a great example of that. Pains really is just truly impressive, and coming off that triple drop shutdown in bandstand as well. Truly, truly impressive.
There's 3 men down now for 3x Ched, and yeah, I mean, how many times do we need to go on about Pains? The guy is just absolutely ridiculous. I think it's one of the biggest shames that we never got to see that rated our squad on the very biggest of stages with this guy at the forefront of that one. Maradona 3-0 up now. Big shame, though. Big shame. I think we were having this conversation with Froome one week, and he thinks they could have won one. A major, that is.
Yeah. What, like an international major?
Yeah. It's hard to say because you can't put them on a... Because they weren't playing each other every single week, so it's hard to decipher how it would have went.
It's an interesting discussion for sure, because one of the great things that was going for HPJC back in the day, especially when they got that top 4 at the major, is that they play a lot differently to a lot of North American teams, but also they have that core shotgun and individual smarts that really makes up for any lacking teamwork practice. And I think perhaps that's where Pains and the former Rated R were kind of getting at to a point, as they have such raw individual skill that their ability on initials and so on and going for triple caps can have that like deadly spark that can lead them to be beating the very best teams, especially in a game like this. And Gears 5, as volatile as it is currently with the top ranks over on the NA LATAM side.
Certainly would have been interesting to see. They were just so... I don't know.
So they had so fast.
Yeah,
they're almost like a LATAM team.
A bit of everything, yeah.
A classic LATAM team that relies on their shotguns to win rounds, and boy, do they really find such success in that area. They go for the triple caps really quickly. They go really fast, but it's not reckless by any stretch of the imagination. It's just when they have the advantage and the ability to push on hard and fast, boy, do they make it work time and time again. It's a really difficult job playing against them. I think that kind of playstyle can actually be a bit more difficult to deal with oftentimes than your classic HPJC in Gears 5, where they'll play a little bit slower and more methodically.
Yeah. It definitely would have been a nice thing to see, but yeah, well, you know. We'll not talk about that. Maradona 3-0 up now. Looking like 3xChid might have a shout in this one, though. Win condition will belong to them. Bounce is now making this push here. It really could be a gunfight that Sticks needs to win. The rest of the team making a push over towards B, and I mean, this has been the longest gunfight I've ever seen by the looks of things.
Dancing around the pillar for both
nobody landing any damage. Bounce is just maybe wasting a little bit of time waiting for the reinforcements to come on through. Crisis arrives and lands his first shot and finds his first kill. Bounce is now with a little bit of support. Should surely find one on the stick. Somebody give Bounces a kill, for God's sake.
He's trying so hard, damn it. And now he's being able to get that wrap shot in the end as well. I think both players are actually delaying in that pillar fight for a long time.
Intentionally, or
I don't. Well, the priorities, right? Pains has come through. This will surely come into a Maradona round, and Pains will just he'll want another body to kill, and clearly Toomey was the target there at the end, 4-0. But yeah, I think a fight like that, and that's kind of how I view them as an individual when I play. Those fights in the pillars, either on defense or offense, typically you have a player coming up behind you at any moment to try and help with that fight, and I think both players are prioritizing surviving, but also not leaving the fight either, so there's not that much of an issue if they don't get the kill necessarily, right? Whether I can speak for Bounces on that regard, though, and how aggressive and passionate and confident he is as a player, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just some missing of shots, if you will, and a miscalculation of aim. But that's how I kind of view that pillar fight. It's an awkward one for sure, and you just kind of dance to make sure you don't die, if anything else.
Pain's getting aggressive. We'll just pick up the drop immediately, drop it in, and, well, find nothing. In that scenario, finds out the second as well, and very, very little.
It's got no shotgun as well, Chris, so it's not ideal.
Yeah, not the best.
You definitely didn't really think about the drops. You just wanted to get them out and just try and catch someone out with speed, rather than waiting for the perfect shot. Astral's
nice.
Great up A at the end. Lovely job. Haynes got taken down as well. No surprise there. He doesn't have a shotgun. Can't really blame him. And the D-Hill is all that's to Maradona's name right now. As 3xChid have done really well on the E-Hill and kept their home hill in the process.
Slow part of the round now coming up here for 3xChid. They're setting themselves up in a spot to try and win the round. Rowdy's going to have to back on down towards his home hill, obviously. Aggressive positioning here from Maradona, but Astrals finds one. Crisis on the other side of the map finding another as well. Of course, things have flipped around here a little bit as EF and D, F, and E all coming through. Maradona, though, looking to close this one out on 5. They're going to get something going over towards E as well, and you can see the aggression will start coming in towards F. Not a fight that Rowdy really wants to be necessarily too much of a part of, but he will actually find the shots there. A little bit of help from his teammates on the other side, and overextension over towards D comes on through. Strauss is here to help out as well, although you have to get running if he wants to help his teammate quickly. He should be going over, and he's in contention as well. This is very much looking like the round most likely from 3xChid if they want to find one here.
Ooh, Strauss getting caught out. Payne's not letting him fly away that. Death Dancer unable to help, and Payne's immediately overextending now. He's at the gap on the map presented in front of him. Now, Payne's going to have a 1v soon. His bounce is going to wait for the drop. Yes, he will. That's great news for him. And Crisis does get a kill. They kind of just need to trade now on Chid. They do get that. And now Bounces should have free reign to try and see what he can do with the drop shot. Payne's sitting back on the home street. The players can regroup and look to see how they can make the next opportunity come about for a triple cap potentially.
Just going to have to wait on. Payne's defending their home hill. Crisis will find one. And the second as well. He is having to help be helped up, but bounces now. Yeah, ready and waiting for this one. There's one. Mystiques needs to push. It's probably very, very dead. Oh, there you go. Toomey is going to get taken down with the Incend, but bounces is there to clean things up. F is locked in. E is locked in, as is D. That is the round. Oh, towards Maradona. Very weird count out there, but they will take the quarterfinals 5-0. 5-0. Very, very simple for them. Just outclassed 3x Chid there. Nothing to be ashamed of. Maradona looking hot off the press this week. Interested to see if they can get something going.
Absolutely. 10-0, right, in the end. What a performance from Maradona, and the kill show it there at the end. I think the storyline for this game, Chris, really is a pickup versus what is an all-star team in Europe now. The teamwork, it came down to the initials, were clearly working out for Maradona in the majority of cases. And they played extremely well. And I think Maradona are going to be very happy with their performance with Toomey as a new player. They'll be looking to the semi-final next.
Yep, no complaints from there, and I would say very much a perfect performance. They'll be happy with that one. We're going to go for a quick break, though. We got more Gears 5 action in Europe coming up after this. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the EGL Open Series. Into the semi-finals we go. And things should start to get really interesting now. Obviously, in week number 8, only a couple more weeks to go. You need to earn those EGL RP. And of course, the money is on the line for the 2 finalists as well. But I'm joined by Toby Campbell once more. I don't know if you're going to be ditching me for playing next week. I don't know. That's what Fru did this week. That's why you coming on through, mate. Which I'm. You know what? Don't tell him. But sometimes I kind of prefer you. That's a lie. I love you both equally.
Jesus.
I love you both equally. No, I only say that because he ditched me. You would never. Toby Campbell would never pass up the opportunity to cast some video games, especially Gears. Gears.
I really like casting and I really like playing. I like doing both, so it's a very, very hard choice at times.
Let's be honest, you ain't making any money off playing, though, are you?
How rude. How rude. I suppose you could say I'm more successful at casting than playing. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I was.
It doesn't mean I'm necessarily
worry.
bad either. Like, you know, I put in some hours, Chris. I promise. It means a lot to me. But actually, on that note, that sprung to mind. Saitama, my teammate, and Zenji, they're playing. I think he's playing with Banged and one other player, and I'm going to find out who that is. My memory's failing me, but they're playing against HPJC right now. I think it's in the semi-final as well.
There you go, mate. Maybe you could.
We're in the quarterfinal. All right, so yeah, one of those players could have been me on that roster, mate. So Marco, that's the one. Marco is actually playing with them as well. Star pick up there as well, might I add. Well done, Zenji. Zenji and Saitama there. Great team they've got going on.
So
but again,
would they have made it with you instead of Marco?
I'd hope so. I think so. Well, I don't know. Who knows?
Sorry, mate. I've thrown you. I've came for you immediately. I do apologize.
It's fine. It's all good fun, mate. It's all good fun. We have to consider these things, Chris. I was just scrimming last night with these guys. I scrim it most nights now. So it's maybe one day you'll be casting solo.
Well, yeah. When you both leave me, I'm gonna have to get Elliot back in when he's had
Darko in after round one.
When he's done, he gets done in round 1 by Fru at this point. So I mean, we need to probably bring him in. But no, we've got the semi-finals coming up, which will be a good game that we do have here. Actually, it's going to be Apolo 24 against 3 times Rowdy on the other side of the bracket. For Apolo 24, obviously, like nothing's changed. Things are moving on consistently for them, winning every single week. 3 times Rowdy. This is a tough game, isn't it? Things have changed up for them. They're a new roster. You wouldn't expect them to do much here against Apolo 24, I don't think.
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. I think it's the kind of same setup that we had with the quarterfinal of Maradona versus 3x Chid. You'd expect them to just play, as per usual, business as usual for Apolo 24. And this is a team, as we know, for the last 7 weeks now, that they don't really slack off at any opportunity, right? They don't just relax. They certainly don't with the practice, which I think we've discussed this before, is kind of their leading advantage over Maradona and HPJC, is just that they play the game constantly, and they just have the history to back it up too. It's kind of the double whammy, if you will, of past experience and current hard work that really puts them on top of everyone else. And I think as a result, that kind of mentality leads them through every single match. Heads held high and never really making much of a mistake or lapse of judgment. So, I think Apolo 24 should take this quite handily 2-0.
Yeah, you would expect so. I do believe we're loading into map number 1, which I think is going to be Vascar, if I was told correctly. Yes, okay, so it will be Vascar. So I mean, Vascar is one of those that when you look at this Apolo 24 squad, we say, they have that slaying ability, etc., but they have a bit of everything, don't they? They seem to really be in tune with what makes a good Gears 5 team, and right now they are dominant in Europe. Can they continue to be dominant yet on Vascar? But heading in to map number 1, looking for another grand finals here, Apolo 24, and it is very much expected to be the case. Well, can 3 times Rowdy do something about that, I wonder? Bit of a new team put together throughout the past week, with a bit of roster mania going on, but are they going to be enough to stop the giants of Europe right now, which is Apolo 24? Not sure, Toby.
Difficult task indeed. But this is the awesome roster that we haven't talked about. I was talking about on Asylum. 3x Rowdy is kind of like the new VYE/Savage camping team. TJ and Slaps, that duo, formerly of Breaker's team, of course, of Elegance, winning split number 1 of EGL, teaming up with Ricardo and Vision. Of course, 2 former VYE members themselves. So this could be the next top roster, or a top roster in Europe, right? Looking for a top 4 placement rather than anything else, I think.
Yep, that's where the heads have kind of got to be at this moment in time. We could definitely find something, it has to be said, but let's see if Apolo 24 can clean things up here. Cougars and Co making the push over towards A. Vision now, not in the best of spots, just going to get closed out. There is going to be members of 3x Rowdy here to try and stop this happening. TJ just delaying as long as he possibly can before his teammates come in to help him out, but him and Slaps are going to get dropped. Ricardo should be quick enough, but I don't think the round is going to change course. That will be Apolo 24 locking in round number 1.
Good job. Again, business as usual. They were really aggressive in the home street. 3x Rowdy did some good stuff with the shotguns, right? They have 4 kills to show that right off the rip. But no, in the end, Apolo 24 coming off respawn. They had the numbers in the end, and the slaying power just trumped the opposition there. Were able to overextend and get that triple cap straight off the rip. And the question is, can 3x Rowdy do a little bit better on the initials to actually give them the leg up now and put them in a position to play against Apolo 24? Perhaps, Vanguard might be one of these maps, right, Chris? It's been a very concerning map for a lot of teams in the past in Europe, given its asymmetry and how different it plays.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have been caught out on it. It's never been a really strong map for anyone as such, I don't think, amongst the top teams. So perhaps this is the map here to cause an upset.
Just different, isn't it? One of those. I said it doesn't have that symmetry. So maybe teams are not quite used to playing this kind of map, but nonetheless, here we are. Apolo 24 up in this one. Marsh holding his shots, but ultimately just doesn't have the support there. But coming around behind is going to be Dragons, who finds both. Made a lot of people talk about the best players in Europe. Dragons, I can't imagine he's not in the conversation that hard at any point. Absolutely ridiculous player. Pushing over towards C now. Apolo 24, Dragons from the other side of things. Ricardo has to make the decision. And push over towards C. Striker's now waiting. Dragons pushing around behind. This should be and will be another round. Over towards Apolo 24, unless Slaps can, well, do something special, but not going to happen. Apolo 24, 2-0 to the good now.
Great job. Coming straight off that double kill from Dragons over at the tank. On who else but Ricardo and Vision, I believe it was. Incredible stuff to do such a 1v2 against those guys. Well played from him. Perfect distancing, perfect pace, quickly flanking the home hill and meeting up his team there on the other side of Asgard. And I think that's kind of the storyline of Asgard. Typically how it's played is you just run around in a circle and you meet each other on the home hill. You run around in that circle around that crater, essentially, quickly closing on the enemy spawn. And Apolo 24 made that look obvious that and how they played that. I expect to see more of the same from them.
Ball tucked down for Dragons and now picked up and now push over towards B. TJ getting a hold of theirs, and not really much to write home about on the weapon placement side of things yet, but Vision and Co now making this push over towards B. Flashed out though, always in a bit of a bad spot. He's going to drop, but what about his teammate Ricardo? He's going to get the pick up there, but Marsh does have company. Vision going to try and get a different angle. Ricardo now down as well. Dragons and Marsh just having to take their time with this fight over towards B, which is really been about the utility and denying the easy shots from both sides of things. But there we go. Dragons throws his out. There should be danger now for 3x Rowdy. That's another pickup going to come on through. They need to start finding the kills. Ricardo will find the down on the Marsh and eventually the kill. So well played in the end from 3x Rowdy. They will pick up B. Dragons are going to have to back down.
Yeah, it was an awesome recovery as well. Marsh did really, really well to throw the flashbang and stun one as they went wide and get him full rud, but a little bit of teamwork from those two that keep them both alive and force the remaining player off as well. Good job from them.
Solid stuff. They've lost A and C in the process though, so I have to go through and try and pick this one up. A bit of a more slow, methodical round of Vazgat. Flash going to go out. Push going to come through from 3x Rowdy, but I'll say that. Not quite. Will now, though. There we go. Flash out. Strikers has to back on down. Did it land, though? I'm not quite sure. Cougars lands them too, though. Really good shots. Chasing down Vision as well. Marsh finds one over towards B. All of a sudden, the round is over. My goodness. That was just on a knife edge for so long. And Apollo 24 find a flurry of kills, and GG, 3-0.
Yeah, making it look easy right now. These guys, it seems like if Apollo 24 are going to lose initial on one side of the map, they sure aren't going to lose it on both sides of the map. So they'll have a quick access to the triple cap eventually. Making it look really, really easy right now. Now, maybe a different weapon placement from 3x Rowdy to change things up. This 2v2 battle doesn't seem to be paying off for them so far. 3-0 is a good time to change up the map in a big way, and they're going to do exactly that. Drop shot over by the tank.
Something different, maybe can work out for 3x Rowdy, but is he just going to play into the hands of Apollo 24? Once again, smoke out towards that side just to stop the shots. Really nicely done. And our Cougars can get out, and there's a lot of people on 3x Rowdy who are in a lot of danger right now. The push is going to come through. Dragons and Marsh getting it done. They don't need the drop shot to come through to help them. All the TJ will find a kill on the Marsh and will get away. But still, Apollo 24 happy with what they get. B and a drop shot completely full. Well, not so much anymore, as Ricardo's going to be taken down with one shot. The push is going to continue from Apollo 24.
Great initial, honestly, from Apollo 24. And I'm wondering if 3x Rowdy were half doing one thing and the other half doing another. It seemed like there was no one lancering Cougars when he picked it up for at least half the time of the pickup, when in reality it should be a lot of players lancering to ensure he can't get away and chain revive through. And like some of the players were flying with shotgun and some weren't, so not going to help them. Lovely double from Cougars there, and he'll find the triple. Ricardo reaction shotting back to Marsh isn't going to help him. Cougars with a triple. TJ will fall as well. Expect this to lead into a triple cap.
Looking that way. Cougars now ready and waiting. Does have strikers in tow as well. Taps to find a kill on the Dragons though on the other side of the map, so maybe something can get going on that side of things, but Cougars going to have to back off. Oh, he's going to get dropped here as well, and this is a charge through from 3x Rowdy. Marsh will survive, and ultimately Cougars will as well. A and B still ticking on through for Apollo 24, though 3x Rowdy not getting points on the board right now.
Nope. They will soon. Drop shot, of course, will be up eventually, and they have to be ready for it. Great shotgun onto Vision. He'll fall. Dragons just checking around as well. If anyone is looking to flank, no one there. But the question is, are they going to rotate in time for this drop shot, for the B hill? Slaps has taken down Marsh and Spawn. Dragon trying to hold on there. Strikers falls as well over on the B side. So looking good for 3x Rowdy all of a sudden with his drop shot pickup as well. They can keep spiraling this into more kills. Not able to find Cougars. Dragons will fall as well, but they need to get a break in time. Cannot reach the A hill there. Just outside as the round concludes. Apollo 24 hold on for long enough. 4-0. 3x Rowdy showed some life though at the end there. Some good plays, some good kills, but unfortunately not enough time, Chris.
Yep, not enough time. Let's say though, 3x Rowdy, can you change anything up here enough to make this game maybe a little bit more open for you? Maybe. No, nothing serious going to go down in the middle. I was wondering if he was going to make the push over towards Z there, but Apollo 24 going to have the same sort of round to contend with here. It's just that they haven't really won many of the opening breaks, and that's ultimately been the problem, hasn't it? Apollo 24 just sort of ran with the advantage they've had from there.
Yeah, I think so. 3x Rowdy haven't been able to get the same result of the quick pick on the drop shot. A lot more difficult to do, you'd argue, against a team as organized as Apollo 24. Everyone's ready to Lancer. Flash is going in. They're going to try and push in on the left hand instead and find a 2v1 on Marsh. They will find it. Not going to have the instant connect. Slaps picks up the drop shot during the flurry of action. Striker's not able to find one.
Nice.
As the 3 players fall for Apollo 24. Simple overextend to the D hill. They can lock down the spawn, essentially, on this side of the map. Marsh will go to the left towards the safety of the E hill.
Vision and Cut trying to keep hold of D here. Apollo 24 off the respawn though. Trying to get aggressive, trying to get it done, and will do. Vision and Ricardo going to drop unless TJ can produce something magical. Well, that's not going to happen, and a lot of people on 3x Rowdy now drop. Bot race over towards F. Slap's still here. Still with a drop shot. Dragons will be dropped himself, and Slap's then to fall beside him. Should get picked up. Not quite in time, but the rest of Apollo 24 starting to collapse in and around F here. But 3 times ready off the respawn. We'll be more than happy to keep a hold of that. But Apollo 24 will also be happy with the fact that they have it. So, not a bad break for Apollo 24 with all those kills that came through on the other side of things. How was that headshot from Cougars? Not quite sure.
Tell you what, Chris, the accuracy of some of these top European players with the Boltok is actually ridiculous. Flashbacks to Identives back in Gears 4 with that weapon. Used to carry his team with it almost at times. But yeah, here we go. Potential triple cap on the go. 5 seconds for Slaps to break. A lot of players here for Apollo. They need to step inside. He's not timed it well. Fortunately, he's not going to reach it in time. Just like that, 5-0 will come through for Apollo 24. Again, looking as strong as ever. And Vazgar certainly wasn't going to slow them down, it seems like, Chris. They are performing extremely well. And they made Vazgar look easy, to be honest.
Yep. I might be downstairs with the missus with a beer in my hand by 9 o'clock at this rate, to be honest with you. If not earlier, it's been very, very quick on multiple sides of things. Very, very good performance from Apollo 24 in map number 1. It's just, for the most part, it was those initial breaks, wasn't it? They were finding them nearly every single time. Makes it very, very difficult for the side of 3 times ready to get going. And even when they did win those breaks, Apollo 24 just sort of spread out, slowed the game down a little bit, as we've seen in that final round. Make that push, win those gunfights, all of a sudden you're in a good spot. Win the second set of gunfights, you're in an even better one and will dominate. Yeah, not too much to really say about that. Map number 1 has to be said. Very much a convincing one for Apollo 24. The question is, for me, as we're about to load into a silo, is who is going to be able to beat them at this point? HPJC are the only ones who could come close. There have been rumors of them stopping playing, which I think would be bad, because I would love to see them keep competing to try and get... Because, look, it's not like they're getting smoked every week. You know what I mean? Like, it's been very much rounds here and there that they... But yes, okay, it's always going to be Apollo 24 who are coming out on top. Well, has been, I should say. But at the same time, it's not like HPJC are far off. They're really, really not.
No, they're not, and this is the difference, right? There's a not a huge chasm between them in their games. Sometimes it'll go to 2-0, but boy, is it hard for each and every single map. The 2-0 scoreline, when it does happen, doesn't really tell the full story for me. But it's more so that there's a tiny gap between them in map results, but a huge chasm, it seems like, in terms of current dedication and motivation to practice. You have Apollo 24, which seem to be scrimming as much as any other European team in the game against top teams constantly. And then you have HPJC, where it looks like maybe half of the players only come online really to play the Sunday tournaments and see what they can do with little practice. And it's not what we're used to from them, from back when they used to scrim constantly and prepare themselves for international majors against the best teams in the world. And it's hard to see, of course. I'd like to see them play more and practice more. But at this point in time, I'm really happy that they're continuing to compete. Of course, you mentioned it. There was rumors that they would be stopping playing, that Krim would carry on playing in a different team because he simply just wants to carry on playing. He's one of these players that does actually play a lot. It's just perhaps some of the team members in that roster isn't playing the game as much as they're used to. And hopefully they can start scrimming a little bit more and try and find their footing well enough to match Apollo 24's motivation.
Well, hopefully they can. That would be nice to see things step up on their side of things. And you look, the rivalry is very much still there. These teams want to beat each other. We know that. But at this moment in time, I think, you know, if you're HPJC, just put that little bit more effort in. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know their schedules, but at the same time, if they did, we know that it could be close, but here we go. 3 times Riley going to try and get themselves on the board in round number 1. Apollo 24 with the first break over towards B. Not going to come through. Shots by Dragons. We'll find one, but will fall. So that initial is going to be won by 3 times Riley. They will get a hold of B4 as well. Put themselves in not so bad of a spot to get around on the board.
No, this was great, actually, from 3x Rowdy and the train tracks. It's a notoriously difficult fight, actually. Just like with Maradona earlier, Apollo 24 is another team that really are excellent at being aggressive on the tracks and winning it consistently. Here they come trying to retake it as a 3 here. Flash is thrown in. Nice little down actually from one player, finding Cougars. That'll perhaps give them the opportunity. Another kill actually coming through, finding Marsh. Ricardo doing the work there. There's vision cleaned up on Strikers. Great job from 3x Rowdy. That's 4 down momentarily. Although I say that, 3 down, in fact. Dragons is still lurking in the home street. Great shotgunning from Ricardo. But his team are there to help him. Potential triple cap now, Chris.
Yep. Good spot for 3 times Rowdy. Starting to get aggressive. Ricardo, though. What's going to be at the forefront, but they are just going to choose to back on down. Too many bodies there from Apollo 24 for them to get anything going. Probably the wise choice there. Apollo 24 will Lancer their way out. Cougars maybe dead to rights in the middle here. Not quite. Ricardo is going to have to just make this push himself. I mean, he's being allowed a free run through, but Apollo 24 made the push of their own over towards B. Haven't secured it in here, though, so Apollo 24 currently not getting 8 points on the board. Swarm domination ticking through.
As well.
Oh my goodness, I tell you what. Yep.
Wow.
Oh, that's worked out perfectly for 3 times Rowdy. And they get themselves around on the board, 1-0.
It's like they called the train then as soon as they needed it. Just a Dragons turns. Oh, I need to break the B hill. A train just appears in front of him. Not ideal at all. They try and race for the home hill, not able to reach. 3x Rowdy putting their first round on the board. Good job from them. It was, of course, started off with that initial. Great plays from Ricardo down in the tombstone there in the middle of the 2 fences over by the tracks. And a lot of players just winning their 1Vs. Well played indeed, and a deserved round. I like how they pulled off that triple cap opportunity as well. They showed the utmost respect to EU's best right now, and no one was lost in the process, Chris, which is the important thing, right? You can be really easily caught out there, the last person off away from the home hill. All of them stayed alive, and they paid off. It paid off for them very well in the future.
Push towards the top bridge coming in this time. He is going to have to back on down as Ricardo makes the push, getting aggressive. Let's see, though. Striker's going to be here to help Marsh win this fight. Slaps may well be dead as well, although Vision there to help things out. Well played by him. 4 kills to his name already. Marsh now in a bit of a sticky spot. Shot's not landed, though. Marsh makes him pay for it, and all of a sudden Slaps left in the 1v1. Will win that one, though, and can he continue to do so? Not quite. Dragons is there. The trades work out in Apollo 24's favor, and all of a sudden, Cougars is pushing TJ. He will be dropped. Good time to get the meat shield. Smart play from Cougars. He will force them away, but he needs a little bit of help. Ooh. My goodness, Cougars. There's one. There's the second as well. My goodness gracious, Cougars. That was filthy to put Apollo 24 on the board here on map number 2.
That was amazing. That was really, really well played. And what was fantastic about it as well, Chris, was not only, you know, the mechanical skill involved there, but it was also just how unpredictable it was. You would never expect Cougars to drop that meat shield and just fly into your right hand to back A or up AU. There, you'd expect them to just him to carry on holding that meat shield and just provide the body block, because that is stereotypically what you do, especially when a teammate is there trying to help you lock in the triple cap. Well played from Cougars, locking in the round for his team there, and awesome round, honestly, from Apollo 24 to bring it back.
Push over towards the top once again. Cougars and Ricardo for this fight as we posture across the map. All the teams waiting to make the move. Shots there by Marsh.
Ooh, big
He's going to get taken down. Yeah, big push coming out of 3 times Rowdy. They will get a hold of B, but over towards C is where the fight's going to be won by Apollo 24, and they will get a hold of that by the looks of things.
Good job, yeah, from Dragons as well. Taking down Ricardo on the home street. Assuming he flanked through middle, as he's known to. All the way back towards the launch day, even of Gears 5. It seemed like Dragons was flying through the middle. Why does he make it work? Of course, a little bit of exchange of hills. Here comes the counter-attack from Apollo 24 on the tracks. Cougars, I believe, and Marsh are the players to try and lock that in. Marsh getting angled as well. I wonder if 3x Rowdy will go on this. Yes, they will. Pushing up onto the cover. Strikers is here to try and back Marsh up. He does get the revive in. Apollo 24 doing so well to revive each other now. And somehow, Strikers will find one. Strikers will find a second, saving the day almost, as Ricardo is the last player alive on the B hill. Apollo 24 should have been taken out ages ago, but Some clutch plays from these Apolo guys. Keeping the situation just like this. Strikers will get a break in the B hill. His teammates are back, and now we go again, Chris. For what seems like a 3v3 in the tracks.
Yep, map is kind of just reset, but ultimately Apollo 24 have the advantage as they have the lead. So they're the ones that don't really need to make this move. Win condition belongs to them, 110 seconds. I'd like to hope we don't have to see them out, but I imagine a team will make a move before then.
Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. 3 times Riley going to make the push here, Toby.
Oh, Dragon's coming out from nowhere as well, finding Ricardo. And the tracks will pause them for a second. Of course, TJ will just crawl into the train so he can get back to respawn quicker. Slap's in a lot of trouble here. He does push and he does find the kill despite getting angled out. Well played from him. Understanding he had right hand, he had the damage advantage. He could get there just in time. Still some crossfire as well, but his team is also supporting him. Cougar's down. Cougar still pushing, by the way, on left hand. Back Ace somehow finds that kill. Well played from him, my goodness me. Just like that, Apollo 24 in the lead with the score currently, but the B hill changing hands once more.
TJ now is going to drop. Dog team win condition is still there. Will still be there even if B is not capped. Dragons, we can't really make that push anymore, but that's going to block off some of 3 times Riley for making a push. This should be 2-1 to Apollo 24. Not really anywhere near B to do something about this. 3 times Riley, 2-1 now. Well played by the Apollo 24 boys. Having to grind out the rounds here, though, hasn't been as quite simple as the first map was.
No, you're right. You're right. This has been a really entertaining tracks fight, actually, between these two teams. Back and forth, just individuals going off at different times to keep their team in it.
Yep.
A reset, as you said, of the map as the tracks fight never really concluded one way or another during that showdown with Strikers clutching up. It's really, really cool to see. It's awesome to see.
Yep.
Slap's doing well in the middle. Dragons, of course, doing well also with flanks now and then. It's a very difficult map, seems like, for both these teams to play against the opposition.
Vision going to make the push through. It's a nice little push through the middle, and Strikers are going to get caught out all of a sudden. 3 times Riley very much have the numbers.
Vision does get the revive, and they will find Marsh as well, yeah. This was great from 3X, but they've lost their home hill in the process. So it looked like the Apollo 24 team was a little bit more successful on the home street. That's Cougars. Rematch perhaps against Ricardo, you could argue. Clear fight victory for Cougars. He finds the double as well. My goodness me, he is on fire today, Chris, it seems like. Can he get the third? Lancer out for some reason, and the roll into the wall is not going to help him at all. But TJ will have his own 1v once more on the home street as Dragons does find him as well, keeping that triple cap pressure on. 3x Rowdy. It looks like they will hold on for now, Chris.
Looking that way. Really, really good work by Cougars towards that home hill. Ricardo and Kodo will get a hold of it once again, though. Win condition for Apollo 24 is now 60 seconds or so. Going to make this push over towards B. They start to do so. Strikers, he got no right to find that first kill. He's going to go down, but is he going to be able to help his teammates after he's revived? He is. Oh, Vision's going to drop to the train as well. Not the idealist of situations. Oh, and then Strikers just about going to get the shots onto Ricardo. That train was maybe a couple of seconds later. 3 times Rowdy maybe in a little bit of a better spot, but B's going to be locked in, and with it, the win condition for Apollo 24.
Ooh, Dragons is going to get caught out here. He will get downed. Cougar's not close enough to help him out, and he will be on his own now. He doesn't care though, Chris. 1v2, there's no one near him. He gets one. Ambitious play, it has to be said. Huge score lead for Apollo 24, and for some reason, he's just flying at a 1v2.
I mean, why not at this point?
I mean, it's 2-1 at this point. It's not the same as Payne's running well, staying in front of a 1v2, right, in a 4-0, but I don't know. Maybe he knows something I don't know in the moment. Slaps will be taken out. His teammates have no issue finding him. Vision, though, and Code, they will find the B hill. Cog win in 20 seconds. They just need a triple cap to do 3x Rowdy.
Vision now. Get the kill on the Cougars. CNA still in the side of Apollo 24. Are they going to have the legs on them to get through? Vision is just about going to decap there, so the domination was about to tick in through, but ultimately the kills went in Apollo 24's direction. 3 seconds for that win condition for them. They will lock in round number 4. 3-1 lead now. Just about, though. 3 minutes. It's not simple here for Apollo 24, but a relatively comfortable one nonetheless, although it got maybe a little bit hot under the collar towards the end. Apollo 24, though, as said, 3-1.
Yeah. I think it would have been a lot nicer for 3x Rowdy, for obvious reasons, right? To get a few more rounds on the tracks just because, or one more round on the track in the halftime, because they were doing so well there, right? It was a really good opportunity to get rounds against the top team in Europe to set them up for a better position second half. But of course, the question is, can they do just as well in the second half themselves? Or Apollo 24 going to find it a little bit easier this time around without the chaos that ensues down bottom?
Striker's going to make the push towards the door. 3 times Rowdy. That's a really, really good shot grenade. A really bad one on the side of Apollo 24. Not quite sure, although it looks like they've put one down themselves as well. But TJ's the one that gets in the middle, and ultimately, there's a big reason as to why E's looking like it's going to go over. Home hill straight. Not necessarily anything going on over there, but 3 times Rowdy very much win this fight up top, and will initially take the lead here.
Yeah, good job. Really, really good job. Aggressive, proactive approach from 3x. Taking the doorway. And as you said, an awesome shock as well to give them the leg up there. Look at this. Apollo 24 very quick to come back off. Spawn, they know where TJ's sitting. He has missed 2 shots there. And you really have to hit the first one against players like these, as they'll no doubt be able to hit you back very hard, very fast. And there comes Strikers, gets 2 downs. Vision will trade 1 out. The revive chain in the center. They're getting pinched though. I'm not too sure if they're aware. There comes Marsh on the flank. Bouncing from Vision. Marsh will find 1. Still, somehow the shotgun fight continues. Marsh will fall eventually. 3v1 up top. But Apollo 24 have 2 coming off spawn and fast.
You do, but 3 times Rowdy are starting to win this fight a little bit more often now. Good shot by Cougars. That might just back TJ down. Going to be very, very weak, surely. My god, how many bullets does Cougars have to put in? Not quite registering there. TJ surviving by the skin of his teeth. He can't pop his head up, so the pressure is there from Apollo 24 to make something happen here. Cougars has probably felt like he's been shooting TJ for the majority of this round and will eventually go down, but Vision is there. Can they bait it out? Cougars backs down. Are the rest of the team there to back him up? It seems that way. Vision going to push on through. Will suffer with his life, though. Dragons are going to drop, though. Misplaced shots. Ricardo gets it done. Although, maybe not necessarily against who he wanted to. Strikers should be dead. It is. But look at this overextension. Marsh is going to win that. Dog team win condition is there. It will change hands though, as 3 times Rowdy will get a hold of their home hill, but Marsh slows down their advantage, if you like.
Absolutely. Right now, 3x Rowdy have had the advantage up top from the start to now. And it's been really tough for Apollo 24 to fight back. That shock might have actually just saved Dragons. Not able to continue on with that push. Oh no, Dragons does actually get shot from distance. Cougars jumps out into a shock grenade. I'm not sure if he was aware that that was thrown just to his left. Or rather just to his right after that first one in front. But there come the kills. 2 players down for Apollo, and 3x Rowdy just going for that angle onto Marsh was TJ. I don't think they're going for the triple cap here, Chris. They just want to make sure Marsh gets taken down. Oh no. No, not like this. For these guys, Dragons is going to get the kill in the middle. He's trying to flank around on the tracks. They need to reach some hills, but just about they'll hold on at the F hill, and they will win this round. My goodness. That was scary for a moment, Chris.
If Dragons makes it through there, it's maybe something to talk about, but it was an interesting play out of Apollo 24 to try and get something going, but 3 times Rowdy has to be said. They continued to win that fight up top. TJ became somewhat invincible.
Yeah.
I think it was just very, very ever so slightly off, wasn't it?
It's surprising.
Get the angle.
Yeah, I mean, on this new update, you expect him to go down pretty quickly if he can continue to hit shots because cover mitigation is completely gone. So if you can hit someone, it'll damage them at full health, but I think it was just that. It was just about hanging on with the skin of his teeth and revives here and there. Just kept him alive. And The moral of the story is, Chris, the 3x Rowdy are putting in extremely good rounds. It's just at times very difficult to see them through against the likes of Apolo 24. Just keep clutching up, right? They're putting in the work. They're doing really well.
Yeah, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. The side of 3x Rowdy, but it has to be said, as you mentioned, they are putting in the work. Strikers and called up. Shock seems to be in their favor this time round. Slaps with a headshot there over the cover. Will be dropped himself though, and expect the push to come through here by Vision, or is he just going to leave his teammate to fall, or is he just going to get pushed down? Dragon's nearly actually finding shots onto his own teammate. Cougars though, if he wins this fight, this could be the round, and there we go. Ricardo going to go down. That's nice shots from Cougars. Making the push now, TJ is momentarily all alone. Cougars ticks it up. Flash going to come out, slow things down. TJ slides in. Slides into his death. Cougars, not quite sure what the plan was there, but Slaps is going to push through. We'll find one. This may well still be a rebuttal from 3x Rowdy, but Strikers finds two. Can he continue here as well? Vision off the respawn. Will deal with Marsh. Nicely done. 3x Rowdy just about to survive.
Yeah, just about. That was a close one. If Vision and everyone wasn't firing on all cylinders, that could have gone the way of Apolo 24, but can they get themselves back in this round? It's not too far off their score. TJ, great shots from him. Dragons baiting that shot there with what was essentially an airback A. And now Marsh flying in actually on his own. Quickly shut down. Dragons not able to help him out in time. Reinforcements from both sides. Strikers will fall and lose his fight over the top to Vision. Dragons forced to back off now to stay alive.
3x Rowdy, not in the worst spots yet. It's just that push and pull, that war of attrition up top. I think it's constant in the second half of Asylum. Still in control here for 3x Rowdy though. Apolo 24 have to do something here, Toby.
How they do. Strikers fighting out in the middle. Cougars taken down though. Dragons on his own for a brief moment of time. Strikers down in the back as well. Opportunity actually for 3x Rowdy presents itself. Strikers will fall. Overextension on the home street. Marsh just coming off or rather Cougars just coming off respawn. This should be a triple cap bar a miracle. Cougars will be taken down, and just like that, 3x Rowdy keep themselves in this game at 3 apiece.
And that round could have been very different if you cast your mind back to around 40 seconds or so. It was very much Apolo 24 looking to lock it in for 4-2, but now all of a sudden it's 3-3, and we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, they're taking their chances at 3x. And of course, cliche as it is, you need to, right? If you earn yourself a strong defense through individual skill on your home street against Europe's best, if you can get a round out of that, that's huge. Massive implication for the rest of the map there. And now, still at 3-all, giving a really good game against Apolo 24. I don't think I've seen Apolo challenged like this outside of perhaps the HPJC games.
You'd be correct. Really haven't been. Maybe Maradona being close a couple of times, but this is very, very good from 3x Rowdy, and it comes down to this second half of Asylum. It seems to sometimes be a bit of a coin toss, doesn't it? I mean, ultimately it feels like the top teams always come out on top, but at this moment in time, 3x Rowdy are making things so difficult. It's just holding their utility to the right times. That's a big, big shot grenade. Somehow the majority of Apolo 24 are going to survive this one, but 3x Rowdy absolutely firing squad up towards E here. They're going to lock that one in. Locking in F as well as a 5-1 over there. 3x Rowdy in a good spot to go into the lead here.
This is phenomenal from 3x, honestly. Applying so much pressure to Apolo 24. Winning the initial the majority of the time. And I think you're right. I think the top teams tend to take advantage in the first half. And then to make up for any mishaps in the second half.
Yeah.
That's typically what we see, but... Yep, Dragons with the incend there, opening the door up top. Oh no, Marsh is going to walk straight into the incend of Dragons. I believe he was red, and the end of the incend field caught him out. Dragons forced to try and clutch it up. Fighting his way through. He will be dropped, though. And as it stands, 3v2 in terms of numbers. The overextension came through on the F hill. Or rather the defense, yeah. That's incredible.
I mean, they're holding very, very strongly here. And Apolo 24 don't seem to have an answer, really, do they? That's the problem.
Yeah, there's not much you can do strategically when you keep losing numbers up top. I mean, where'd you go from there? Try and overextend as a 1v player on the tracks and risk getting lanced out from up top. It's really hard. Well, Dragons is trying something new, as he's known to, actually. run through the middle, win his 1v there, but he's immediately been caught out, forced to back off. Strikers does win up top, though. So separating that team fight a little bit, forcing the turnaround on Dragon seems to have helped them. Opening the door, of course, for Strikers to win that 1v with more space up top.
Strikers will get a hold of this. It's COG Team 1 condition. Full three times Rowdy's pressure as TJ finds a nice kill there. And that's actually a really, really good shot grenade out of Marsh. You know, it's going to keep them off it, but ultimately he will be dropped as well. And that's now going to keep Apolo 24 away from stopping this. Oh, that's a nice in-send from Slaps.
Oh no, Marsh did get up. I thought that would be the confirmation of 2 kills. Dragons come into clutch. Ricardo getting down. Slap still fighting and gets the down on 2. These players are clutching up right now, Chris, from 3x Rowdy. Play after play to keep them with the edge over the top team in Europe here at the top of Asylum.
Doing very, very well. 3 times Rowdy are about to head into a lead here. Apolo 24 very much in danger of dropping a map. 5-0 it was on Vazcott. 3 times Rowdy have just taken the lead for the first time in the series.
3 rounds in a row as well. Wow. 3x Rowdy. And you can look at the kills, right? It says it all. They might be just 1 round ahead, our 3x Rowdy, but boy, do they have way more kills than Apolo 24 right now across the board. Vision with the most kills in the game. Now, yeah, looks like a disable for both teams. I think, honestly, Apolo 24 will be happy about that. The shot grenade has really not helped them at all at this point in time. They've had some great shocks, of course, but it just seems like they're just using it at this point to try and get a kill back when 3x Rowdy have already ruined their initial with that 1 grenade or that 1 incend or whatever it might be. So I think they'll prefer a little bit more simple fight here. More flashes, more smokes to be used as well. TJ a little bit red, but 1 player is taken down. Dragons finds 2 thanks to Marsh getting the down. Slaps his incend, not going to connect with anything. Going wide immediately on Slaps. He'll get taken down. A lot better from Apolo 24.
Yeah, much better. Feels like they may have just leaned forward a little bit there. And that's no disrespect to 3 times Rowdy. Apolo 24 definitely feel as if they are the stronger team here. And that's the opinion across the whole Europe, I would imagine. Strikers and Co looking to lock this one in. Can 3 times Rowdy hold on here. Slap's going to make the push on through. Not going to be quick enough. Round number 9 we go. That's a good way to kick things back here for Apolo 24 in 48 seconds.
Yeah, that's one hell of a response. Brilliant stuff from Apolo, and I'm sure 3x will be happy that the Sharks are back straight back into it for round number 9, right? They had a glimpse of what it looks like without Sharks, and that can happen. Drop shot thrown up top for Apolo 24. They want to go all in, double down on that fight up top, and perhaps facilitate a little bit more advantage gained for pushing the doorway immediately and risking your life in amongst the Sharks and Insen. So this is going to be a big one, Chris. It could all come down to an initial between these teams now. You have the Insens, the Sharks, the Flashes, Smokes, and now a drop shot.
Gonna make things interesting. Here we go. Drop shot is actually just going to be immediately picked up by Slaps. He's going to be dropped also immediately. Oh, it hasn't worked out for them. Did Slaps actually manage to backpack that? No, Strike's actually going to drop to that incend. Well, how long has that been there?
Was that tagged or was I'm so good. I don't know if I looked away from my screen or what, but Ricardo just got an incend somehow. An incend kill. Vision. Steam train to the wall to try and find Dragons. Dragons not having any of that on right hand. No siree. Very, very risky play, and it's not paid off. TJ flanking round. He's on his own, though. No one's really helping. They had the call out early on, did Apolo. Dragons full red. Good shots from him, though. Apolo 24 are playing amazingly now. They're pulling out every stop they can. Strikers through the middle. Cougars round the back. This could be a triple cap now.
Yep, looking that way. Apolo 24 setting up nicely for it. Waiting for 3 times Rowdy to make their final push out. They may well try and deal with them here, but tell you what, they've actually managed to make themselves in a little decent enough spot here. 3 times Rowdy. Strikers and Marsh going to drop one down, and all of a sudden TJ can hightail it all the way over towards D. 3 times Rowdy. This might have opened up a door for them, if I'm honest.
I think so. I wouldn't expect TJ to hang on to this too long, to be honest with you. Vision's going to run. Domination is definitely not going to come in with all these players alive for Apolo 24 right now, but they can just turn this into a 2-cap hold. That'll be brilliant. Vision is back to help out. TJ, I'm sure, would have backed off on home street by now. Ricardo downed, revived. Cougars down in the doorway, giving them access to this push up top immediately. Strikers finds TJ on the home hill, though, which should protect them from a triple cap. A 3x Rowdy going to try and follow up. Looks like they are not. Ricardo's going to turn back to look at the home street.
Yep, need to try and win it over here. Strikers could do with staying alive. That's brilliant, brilliant shots. They're going to jump on F now as well. That lead is going to stay with them, although they haven't been able to lock this one in yet. Strikers is going to get caught out. Big, big kills by TJ. But all of that attention is deterred away from E, which is now being captured by Apolo 24. And it has the extra prize with it. Oh, Marsh, you need to clean this up. Just about. But they get the hold of the drop shot. Apolo 24 in prime position to close this series out.
That's drop shot down. If they can somehow make this work. Flying in. I think that's it now.
Oh, that should be it. That should be it. Marsh sends it deep. It's not going to make too much of a difference at this point. 3 times Rowdy, you can see they're not close enough to D. That's the round, that's the map. But I have to give plaudits to them. They really did make a game of it on map number 2. It's going to take a round 9 for Apolo 24 to get the win after a 5-0 win on Vazcott. And that will be a 2-0 in this series. Apolo 24 will get through to the grand final, but not without a good game out of 3 times Rowdy, especially on map number 2. But once again, Apolo 24 into the grand final again.
Again, yeah. I mean, it's commiserations for 3x Rowdy. I think they didn't have the greatest Vazgar, right? We didn't expect too much difference coming out on Asylum with how well Apolo 24 playing, but boy, oh boy, did they impress. Some of those rounds, Chris, were really, really impressive, and it actually reminds me a little bit of how Savage Camping were giving HPJC Maradona some a run for the money in the previous matches, or previous, rather, tournaments, I should say. And I think this is a team to look out for now, right? We were mentioning it earlier, how this is kind of like a crossover between Savage Camping and VYE. It's their first week again, right? Think back to Savage Camping's first week. We were saying the same thing. It was their first week, and somehow they get into a semi-final already with a completely new roster with only 2 of them playing together in the past. Of course, Crazed and Slazen used to be on the old Savage Camping roster, but so much potential, Chris. Honestly, I am so impressed from these 4. To do that on Asylum, a very practiced map. It's not a brand new map by any stretch of the imagination, right? It's not like we've had just Foundation join the cycle or anything. No, this is Asylum. This is really probably the most played map of the first start of the season, right? Last 100%. In the pro circuit. So well played to them. Keep your heads held high, because that was an incredible map number 2, and an amazing match to see.
Yep, really, really good. Map number 1 wasn't quite as entertaining as map number 2, but nonetheless, it will be Apolo 24 into the grand final again. We're trying to join the other semi-final. We'll let you know if we can do that. Until then, we are going to go to a very short break, but stick around. We should be jumping into more Gears 5 action very, very soon. See you then. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the EGL Open Series, and we're in map number 2 of the second semi-final between HPJC and Maradona. And I tell you what, Maradona have a 1-0 lead in the series. HPJC 1-0 up on the map.
Incredible. First time I'm in of that score. That's insane. Maradona getting the first map win against HPJC. My goodness me. And now HP will have to come back with a vengeance. Looks like Bounce has just placed down the drop shot over at Cinema. So it's going to force this team fight over there. And I think maybe that's a wise decision, actually, Chris, because HPJC have always placed the drop shot down at Bandstand. And now Maradona would force the complete opposite strategy on the other end of the map to change things up.
There we go, then. HPJC trying to win this fight in the middle. The flash is going to come through and be so beneficial for the Maradona side. And they are very much going to win that fight. A now is the push. Drop shot in the hands of Pins. They're just going to set up here. HPJC not in any hurry.
No, not at all. The main man, Pains, has got the drop shot. He's taking it back to blue, where you can essentially drop shot most areas of the map from here. He'll get his active ready, I'm sure, before firing it away. And a big task for HPJC to try and get themselves into this. Oh, my goodness me, I'm not sure what happened there.
You missed, Toby.
He did
miss.
miss that. I'm not sure how he missed so badly. I think he was trying to aim, but he just let go of his trigger for a second when he shot or something. No idea. Hydron pushing through. Double down. Hydron will stay alive, but Pains holds his shot and finds Jackfax. Hydron 1 beat between him. Oh, that was close. Hydron had to fight for it. And now Crisis will force him into a 1v straight after, as they win the kill trade, if you will. Crimson's with that ball talk. Deadly with it as ever, but will get pinched by Bounces straight off spawn. Toomey keeping him under pressure. Now looking for a potential overextension on the A-Hill.
See if we can get something going here. Extension coming through. Maradona. This is round number 2 towards them. 100%. Obviously not going to get that. Minute and 54. Just a really good round. Very solid across the board. Win the opening fight. Squeeze HPJC after that. Toomey yet to get a kill, but a round on the board is all that matters for the Maradona side. And drop down there, Bonsock. HPJC. Thought they were going to block that there. That would have been strange. Nonetheless, we'll get their talent in on the other side of things. So HPJC will be slightly ahead by the time we get into rounds 4 and 5 or so in terms of utility available to them. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I think that's usually the reason why a lot of teams copy each other in terms of weapon placement. So that's a good point to mention. Now, can HPJC do a little bit better on this fight? Pains has flown into them, finding that first kill. Again, the icebreaker as usual, getting that first kill in these big team fights, giving his team the advantage. Bounces with a drop shot. Price is keeping his distance, but missing. Oh, Jack Vex just about lanced out by Toomey there from home street. Well played from Toomey. Saving the day, saving everyone's lives. And drop shot once again in the hands of Pains.
Another good spot for Maradona to be in. Just taking their time when they get this drop shot as well. Expecting to push here is Pains. You know there's more than one there, I doubt it. Oh, that's deep. Woo. Oh, okay, fair play. We'll find one. I like the innovation from Pains over the top. Crimson's might be dead. Oh, Hydron's made the push forward. He's going to find one. Pains may be dead himself, but puts the shots in. Can't quite evade the second player, though. Will be taken down. Bounces. Comes in and cleans up in the middle. Gets shots by Crimson. Ultimately, though, Maradona's still in control of this round, especially if Crimson loses this fight. Bounces is going to lose one over towards the C side, though. There's a big fight going on over there as well. Crimson's with the wraparound. Maradona just trying to hold on to A. It looks like off the respawn, HPJC will be able to get a hold of B here. Maradona just trying to hold on to A for now.
Good shots from Crisis there on the left. Crimson's flying in for the up A. Not going to connect as well as he'd liked. Now Phelpsy and Hydro knocking on the door. Pains and Bounces, essentially a duo at this point, holding their nerve. And they will find Phelpsy, Jack Vex caught out, or rather Jack Vex, not Hydron, excuse me. Fighting for that triple. There's Hydron though, secret round in the middle again, finding Pains. Looking for the pinch on the C Hill. As the score stands, Maradona have a big point advantage. Hydron so red, Bounces, not going to find him. But yeah, still advantage to Maradona here. And Toomey, great cap on the B Hill.
Yep. Done well. Maradona are in a good spot. Well, they kind of need to win these fights. Crisis, he wants to send that deep. Even if he can just get rid of this drop shot, it's maybe not the worst thing, but needs to try and stay alive, at least find something. HPJC collapsing in and around B, over towards A though. Which way is that fight going to go? It's going to go over towards Maradona. A one cap should do it for them. And will. Bounces wins that. He's going to overextend towards C as well. Needs the rest of his team to defend A. Bounces with the overextension is going to cause problems. Toomey going to go down very, very quickly. Now they need to get over and get rid of Bounces, who is now not really in position to do anything apart from just hold on. Cap. 5 seconds. He's capped it. Yeah, that's going to be the round. Well played by Bounces. I like the heads up play. 2-1 to Maradona.
Yeah, all Bounces there in the end. Well played indeed. Just as HPJC were clutching up on the drop shot on the cinema after losing it. Unfortunately for them, Bounces was doing his work on the home street. Honestly, so well played from everyone in that round. But yeah, drop shot again. It proves to be a good weapon placement for Maradona, honestly. They've got it each time, even in the mid points of the round. And they're really consistently winning that initial against HPJC. Usually when there's a drop shot down the map, Chris, you like to favor those guys, right, are trying to get it. And I think, honestly, the decision of putting drop shot in the cinema rather than the bandstand has really helped Maradona here.
Well, we go over towards Cinema again. Payne's going to be first one in, gets the shots in whilst he can as well, and HPJC have been backed on down. Payne's will pick up the drop. That's not going to find anybody. But nonetheless, it just takes it away from HPJC. Comes down on Jack's head, and he gets his shotgun back for good measure as well. The rest of the team, though, getting pinned in. I really like this push out of Hydron, but can he make it count into something else? Is going to get dropped. And Pains is there once again. The rollout will distract as the rest of the team pushes on through. Pains will be dropped. The rest of the team, though, can they keep it going? Yes, they can. Bounces. Important gunfight to win if he wants to try and find it. Yes, he can. Maradona been dominating these open exchanges here, Toby. And have themselves a lead in the map for it. Jack's going to be dropped as well. Maradona just keep on rolling.
Bounces down. Toomey is round to A Hill though, so the revive's not going to be there. And you'd expect Toomey to get taken down as well on the home street if he tries to hold that. Look at this chase down from HP. They need him. They need to find this kill. Phelpsy finds that. Problematic times, honestly, for HPJC on this initial. They're not having a great time at all. They've got some good flanks and stuff, but let's see. Can this midpoint of the round be the time HPJC turn it around? Of course, this last round of the first half. We'll be going to the E-Hill down here next. Crisis. Literally checking over that wall there to see if he can see anything. Not sure if he did. Well, he's gone wide now and seen Phelpsy now. Ooh!
Nope.
Okay.
Phelpsy didn't see that.
Caught out completely. God. Lancer out and everything.
Crisis pushes round. Will be dropped and nobody around to help him by the looks of things. Oh no, there are. So overextension over towards A comes through, and I tell you what, if HPJC don't win this fight over towards B, going to be in an even rougher spot. Crimson's looking for the drop that should be coming up very, very shortly. Maradona have presence here. Pains putting the shots down, staying alive. They're keeping them out of B as well, but they can't keep them out of A. Fight's now going to be won over towards that side of things as well. That's a cog domination. That's another round for Maradona. And may I remind you, are 1-0 up in the series here. It's getting very interesting.
My goodness me, I can't imagine it's too happy in the camp of HPJC right now in the comms department. Because this is not the score that they'd be happy with, right? They're 1-0 down already, and now Maradona are really taking them for a ride at Cinema. winning the initials, getting the drop shot constantly, losing the 2v2 fights, getting caught out. Even as something as small as Payne's getting down there on the bench with the retro is perhaps unacceptable at this point for the HPJC players. They're better than this, right? You can't just let little kills slip like that, especially in a situation where you're down just like that. It's, they have to turn it around, Chris, and they have to turn it around fast.
Yeah. Can they turn it around, though? That's the thing. Bouncer's first one in. It's not the best of incends, and all of a sudden Bouncer's going to get his head taken off. Payne's, though, he's going to send those shots out. I mean, he keeps picking it up instead of his shotgun, and I'm not sure that's the wisest play. We question it not. Payne's. Nonetheless, though, HPJC will find their first win over towards Cinema. And it becomes a bit more influential when things switch up like they have done here, of course, as we go into the second half. HPJC, after a very quick initial win, will find a very quick round win. And as I was going to expand on is the fact that if you win that initial over towards Cinema, where everybody's hanging out, and you win it over towards it, you can get that triple cap in very, very quickly. And that's exactly what we've seen. HPJC half that deficit ever so quickly.
Yeah. Locking of both utility slots, no doubt, for this round. Which is different, Chris. Usually teams will like to keep that disable for the last rounds, or the last potential round of maps, but no, both teams doing it pretty early here at the 3-2 mark. Interesting affair. I think, you know, the second team just copying the first, if you will. Let's see. How is this going to pan out in the cinema? Crim's a little bit quicker. Payne's, though, the perfect movement to get inside Gib range. Going for the second, finds it. Toomey finds his shot in the middle. Phelpsy on his own. He'll get pinched. Drop shot again in Payne's hands.
Oh, it's just so good from the boys on Maradona. And as we said in the previous round, that break and domination can come through very, very quickly. Payne's confident they could lock that one in quicker than they did in the previous round, HPJC. 34 seconds it took Maradona. 42 now. Not far off.
Well, this has already been a big upset for HPJC, even the scoreline itself. But if they do lose 2-0, this would be a bitter, bitter loss for them. Just as the rumors were swirling around that they perhaps would be taking a break from competing. And now this week. Not ideal at all for these guys.
No, really isn't. Well, normal grenades, sorry, going to be put down in the middle. Well, here we go then. Can Maradona get this one closed out? 4-2 up, you'd think they'd be able to get one more round out of the next... Well, 4? I thought it was a 4. I don't know, I can't count. Here we go. Obviously making the push forward. We'll get rid of Payne's, which is a big, big scalp to take. Oh, bounces though. He's found 2. He's found 3. We'll get his teammate back up. We'll get a hold of the drop shot. Toomey is going to die in the middle though, so Hydron, an important fight to be won. Frag's now in his hand. Well, no, not any longer. They may well be there, but it's not attached to his body. Bouncers will find the kill. That's kind of worth it. I know Crisis goes down, but remove those frags out of the equation. Bouncer's going to be a little bit weak off that Voltok shot that's going to come on through. Ooh, Payne's pushes forward. Toby looking good for Maradona.
It really is. Phelpsy staggered there, allows Payne's to push up a little bit and ensure that they can get the E-hill without any difficulty. Now Payne's has already let them know. They're very happy with their current position in the map count and round count. Drop shot still to be used, of course. E-hill captured. HPJC under a load of pressure now.
Shots by bouncers. Looking to try and solidify this one. Maradona just waiting for the push for it from HPJC. Yeah, you can see the setup pretty deep. And I don't think HPJC know that bouncer still has that. Phelpsy will have to back down. Payne's now puts a couple bullets in the roll away. Oh no. Oh dear. Well, If it was going to happen to anybody, the worst person that could have happened to is probably Phelpsy, after some comments backwards and forwards between these two in the past. Haynes lets him know about it. Maradona are going to go into a grand final again, and that could be a nail in the coffin for HPJC. 2-0 in the series. Maradona get it done. And we have a spicy grand finals on our hands. Maradona taking on Apolo 24 is going to be coming up next. Toby, what do you think of that performance out of Maradona?
Really, really good. Honestly, they're looking as strong as ever. It's safe to say the best result they've ever had against HPJC, by the way. I think they've beaten them in the past.
I think they have.
Of course, most weeks...
But not that way.
Not that way. Most weeks they lose 2-1 or 2-0. I think most recently it's been 2-1, actually. So they've never been far behind, so to speak, have Maradona behind HPJC. But boy, 2-0 in that fashion, with that kind of comfortable round count. Incredible. Well played, Maradona. You got to tip your hat to them. And of course, Toomey, the new player, doing really, really well himself, hasn't he? So well played to him, well played to the team. They'll be very happy, I'm sure, with their current roster. Will Maradona. Commiserations to HPJC. I just don't know what's happened to them this week, but perhaps they weren't themselves either.
Yeah, perhaps not, but ultimately it will end up in Maradona taking on Apolo 24. That's going to be the grand final of week number 8 here in the EGL Open Series second split. And that's going to be coming up after this quick break. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the EGL Open Series, and here we are in the grand finals. It is, of course, going to be Apolo 24 taking on Maradona, and not necessarily the one we expected here, Toby.
Not at all. Not at all. This was a big surprise, I think, for HPJC to be losing out against Maradona, and in fashion that they did as well, 0-2. Who would have guessed, right? Who would have guessed in a million years? That is one of the biggest upsets we've seen so far, I think, in the series. Overall in this whole split rather, and I wonder, what's next for HPJC? Are they gonna continue on as they have been, and I hope that they perform better next week, or are things going to change in somewhere? I wonder. Only time will tell. But of course, here we are, grand final time. Maradona earned their spot for sure with a fantastic win against them, and a very hard actually quarterfinal as well that we saw on broadcast as we go into the grand final here.
Grand final is going to be a bit of a different one, as mentioned. Asylum is what we're going to kick things off in between Apolo 24 and Maradona, but Maradona have looked their best that we've seen in quite some time this week. Can they go a step further here against Apolo 24? That is the question.
That is it. They're certainly warmed up and they're playing very well on Maradona. Just can they see it out now? Can they beat the Titans, I wonder? Marsh does push on the train tracks and finds Pains and bounces off to a flying start, evidently. And they're going to lose out on the home street as well as Crisis gets pinched through the middle. Cougars was having an incredible, really good first half against his opponents in the previous matchup, of course. But Maradona, or rather, I think both actually. No, not Maradona, excuse me. Not this week. They won 5-0. Apolo 24 had a difficult second half, wasn't it, against 3x Rowdy. So, maybe some potential there for Maradona, although they've not been as strong in the second half either, historically. They had a good first round on the second half and got a nice 5-0 victory earlier. I'm glad it's Asylum, actually, Chris. We've got a bit of a storyline built up for both of these teams today on this particular one.
Yeah, both of them have had games on this map. Of course, Maradona very much have sailed through this week when it comes to Asylum. Apolo 24, a bit of a tougher task against 3x Rowdy, but this time around it is going to be Apolo 24 to kick it off very quickly with that round number 1 win. Apolo 24 now going to be making the push. Pains and Kodo, first ones here. Pains not able to do much from this distance with the Nasha, expecting the push to come out of Apolo 24 in a second as he is freely capped up. Pains a little bit of damage, nothing too silly, bounces. Going to pick him back up, but Pains around the back. Shots into Marsh, should be dead, and is really well played by Maradona, and they win that opening exchange.
Yeah, a lot better from Maradona there on the tracks. Dragons, though, will win his fight on the home street. I believe he must have flanked round, actually, after taking up post from Cougars. So rad. Him around the corner, try and protect himself for a second, but not going to work out. Crisis will find that kill. Maradona with the score lead this round, but already Strikers and Marsh off to a flying push here on the tracks. Looking for a 2v1 on bounces in the middle. Big shot from Strikers. Marsh does trade out, though, and get the revive in. Pains is here to play, though.
Strikers, pretty weak, is going to have to back on down. Maradona still in some sort of control here, though. As Marsh and Strikers now combine and get rid of Toomey over towards B. Win condition will change hands, although they haven't locked it in quite yet. Now, Apolo 24 looking to make this push over towards A potentially. Well played by Crisis, though. May even just decap and get out, although actually he's going to be able to freely pick up this hill. And imagine he may just get out of dodge here in a second as well. Can't quite do it now, though. Dragons. Oh, he's going to be caught out. The knife came out. And all of a sudden, Crisis catches him with his pants down. Apolo 24 now going to be forced away. ANC in control for Maradona here. Much better from them.
Yeah, complete slip up from Dragons there. Allowing Crisis to hang around and wait for his teammates to come back. Pains going no man's land, but quickly revived. Dragons here comes flying back. Strikers with the flank. Big 1v for Toomey now. If he does choose to try and hold. In fact, he's pinched already. Cougars will find him. And Apolo. Big score deficit, but already flying for the overextension.
Yeah. Maradona are going to be here. That domination is going to start ticking, though. Cougars and Co. Wise to probably back off here and just try and fight her from the outset. Trading flashes. So ultimately trading positions. Good shots on the panes from there from Cougars. Can they get in? Yes, they can. Maradona trying their best to stay alive. They can do, thanks to Crisis, who finds 3. All of a sudden, the round may flip on the other side of things. Dragons kind of needs to win this fight against Toomey in the middle. Isn't going to. Overextends towards it. B going over towards Maradona. And with it, the domination about to tick. Crisis is going to be the only one over towards C. He may well be the sacrificial lamb for this round. Right now, Apolo 24 getting nothing on the board. Maradona looking like they're going to lock this one in. Bounces. He's played that well. Striker's going to drop to Toomey as well. This should be a round over towards Maradona. How the hell Marsh has won that, I have no idea. But over towards B, nobody there. Maradona get themselves on the board. A good round win.
It was. It really, really was. Everyone is playing super, super well. Crisis with a double on this home hill. Big team fight victories on the train tracks. Toomey, of course, holding a shot there against Dragons, holding his nerve. Clearly performing very well today is Toomey in every match we see him on. And overall, it was just the usual Maradona aggression, but they're making it work against Europe's top team right now, making them really stretch for each and every single round that we've played so far. And it's looking so good for them, Chris, because of how Apollo was playing previously on Asylum against 3x Rowdy. I wonder if Maradona can keep up this form and keep playing as well as they are, as well as they played against HPJC, winning 2-0. Maybe, just maybe, they can see this map out.
We're down initially by Crisis onto pins, which is not ideal, and ultimately Apollo 24 are going to win that fight over towards B. All of a sudden, Maradona are trying to defend over towards C, but just about going to succeed. Dragons is going to have to back on down. Pushing, coming over the top of bridge. The big fight going to go on towards the train tracks as well. Dragons doing his best just to defend yet. Maradona happy to wait their turn, although are they? Dragons now going to go down. Striker's getting some free damage into 2. Not enough to do anything about it. All of a sudden, Strikers kind of needs to stay alive here. Marsh is going to lose the fight over towards B. Maradona in a good spot to capture that. Woo. Just about holding on. Cougars is going to be there to find the kill into Crisis, though, after he finds one Striker. It's a bit of a topsy-turvy round. Nobody able to establish total control across the map.
No, you're right. It really is both teams just flying at every numbers advantage they can locate, and any 1Bs as well. They can get the advantage on. Here comes another 2v1. One comes through the middle, but severely outnumbered. Payne sent running. Score fairly even as the B-Hill trades from team to team over and over.
Been a lot of fighting over towards the bridge, hasn't there?
Yeah, that's
a lot of fighting.
Payne's on the flank. Cougars on the flank too. There's the kill. Strikers will fall to me with 2 in front of him. And pretty weak from his previous fight, I'd imagine. He'll get dropped quickly. Just going to let him time out now. And push to this overextension for the hill.
Yeah, Apollo 24 now. In a spot to do something here. Bouncer is going to find 1. Off the respawn, no, B is going to be captured. Look, Paynes makes the overextension over towards B. Keeps his team in the round as that domination would have ticked otherwise. Stay in the hill, mate. Come on. We love the movement. We need to capture the point. C now going back over towards him as well. He will drop. All this time goes on. Apollo 24 just keep ticking closer to that 250 mark. That Cook team win condition is going to be under 20 seconds by the time they lock in B. The kills here by Crisis, who has been influential in the map. Bouncer is going to get back up. The revive chain not going to quite come on through, and it looks like Apollo 24 just about going to close this one out. They need to make sure they keep a hold of A. They should be able to. Cougars finds 2 on the defensive side. That will be another round for Maradona. Every single one has been well fought, though. Could have went either way. 2-1 Maradona, they have the edge.
Yeah, well, they do. Good stuff from Apollo, and check out Crisis with 10 kills as well, leading the way for his team, doing really well. And that's the thing, right? You mentioned it. There's a lot of fights on entrance as well, the home street. That every little nook and cranny of this map has activity as it stands. And either team are just trying to keep with their usual playstyle, and that's just fly at everything that you can. And if a numbers advantage can be gained, then keep snowballing that into the next one, and never really setting up for too long. On the contrary as well, but neither team really allowing a setup because they're just always just flying, always keeping the other team under pressure and trying to trade kills in the more classic sense from other games.
Strike doesn't go now. Standing up for this push towards B. Not the team able to make a move quite yet. See, the only positioning difference is maybe over towards bridge and through the middle. Everybody else sort of just waiting for something to happen. It's maybe one good flash, and all of a sudden everything should kind of just break into life. Although the trains might have something to do with it. There you go, good flash over towards Pains. He's going to be forced away. All of a sudden, Apolo 24 have 3 men over towards the tracks. There's the train there. Maybe close things off. Pains in a bit of a bad spot. Marshall will find that, but can he find much else from this one? Bounces and Pains just about surviving. Strike is going to drop, as does Marsh. How the hell have they got out of that fight? Maradona lock in B. They're very much here to play in the grand finals.
They certainly are. They're really pulling out all the stops now on Maradona. And Apolo 24, they have their work cut out for them. They have to make the plays work. They have to account for every little variable. Dragons is stuck in a 1v2. He does get a kill, though. Big deal. Strikers can then follow up underneath. I think Marsh is pushing for his 1v as well. It's just all about these engagements. Cougars is trying to follow up in a 1v2 if he can clutch up and keep the numbers the same. Toomey isn't fully sure if he wants to commit to this or not. Now the 1v2. Cougars is committing once again to the 1v2. Trying to bounce. Dragons is there, but a little bit too late. Marsh with a double, meanwhile, on the tracks elsewhere. Keeping the B hill under control.
Yeah, he was in a complete 1v2 over there, by the looks of things. This is allowing Apolo 24 now make a bit of a push to try and solidify this round. They don't have A, but they've had to drop back over towards their own home hill. Now they can make the push over towards A, but whilst that is all going on, it's actually going to be a push over towards B. Coming out from Maradona, who seem to have everything kind of covered. And that's been the difference, even though the kills have come through from Apolo 24 on occasion. Maradona have had something covered to keep themselves in a position to not only be still in the round, but kind of in control of it. But Apolo 24 are going to take over that momentarily with a 33-second win condition. Maradona very much alive in this round.
Yeah, that they are. If you need Marsh to get a 2v1 on train tracks to keep you in it, then that's really saying something. Maradona are the leading team as it stands. Apolo 24 just about taking the score lead, winning that team fight on the tracks as well. Crisis, oh my god, this is a battle round. This piece of cover, both players just going for the bloody up A. Trying to find the last shot to close the gap and win out. Apolo will sneak this round and increase their score lead to a 3-1, but my goodness me, it really does feel like Maradona are just really so close to taking the round wins. It's just the very end that Apolo 24 clutch up, whether that be Marsh or the 2v1 or whatever it might be. Apolo again really have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, some very big wins for the Apolo 24 side, though. Shark's going to start coming into play, though, as we head into round number 5 at the halfway point, of course. Things get a little bit mixy now.
Yeah. The dreaded second half for both of these two teams. This is what I was alluding to earlier. They're so good at the first half, both of them, but not as great in the second, especially Maradona historically. Now, who's going to do the better? Shot grenades, both are thrown out. Crisis throws his a little bit closer, but it doesn't connect. Apolo 24 take advantage of that. They fly through the center, get into it, find safe harbor. This is the result. Lovely capture. Maradona forced off, not able to do much. They have to wait for Spawn to come back in to get their numbers back. Meanwhile, Apolo are just going to use that time to try and influence the train tracks.
This is a classic example of Apolo 24 and how many strings they have to their bow, isn't it? We know how much their aggressive team fight kind of meta it can develop, and it can be very solid from them, but they can also hold out, although this time they do not. Dragons and Marsh both dropping down on the bridge side of things. Cougars kind of needs to stay alive. Shot not quite registering on Toomey. Will eventually get it done, but the Swarm Domination about to tick on through. He's going to get his head ripped off, and Crisis is just about there to get hold of Toomey. Strikers is going to just about decap F, and Apolo 24 will survive based on getting a hold of D here. Dragons is going to deal with Pains, who overstepped the mark there. A bit of a miss roll, and All of a sudden, Apollo 24 in a position to try and push to get a hold of E. They've got 3 people pushing this. Nobody over towards train tracks. They also keep an eye on Toomey, making their push over towards D. Apollo 24 investing a lot over towards this E hill now. Top bridge control belongs to Apollo 24 as the kills start to rain through. Toomey doesn't get aggressive over towards D either, so they get nothing for it. All of a sudden, bounces. Needs to survive as best he can. Apollo 24 not keen to push this yet, though, Toby.
Bounce is still letting rip with the Lancer, though. Did get it down. Is anyone near? Is he just going to get up 8 or back 8 now? Very simple for Cougars to do that. Christ is not close enough. Not sure why he took cover so early. Haynes in a little bit of trouble. Will trade out 1 kill, but Cougars will find that and the second. Now Toomey's going to get angled out on tracks. There should be a down. Yep, there it goes. And a nice points lead for Apollo has been built. Question is, are they going to try and go for a triple or anything? No. Looks like Cougars will just take the shot grenade and run out. Really, really smart, because 20 seconds to go and you have 2 shot grenades to defend the hills. It buys you so much time. I know, Pains and Maradona do have to fly.
Yep. The whole of Maradona need to do something here. They haven't won the fight over towards D. They're going to get the D cap. Well, not quite. Apollo 24 will lock this in within the next 6 seconds or so. And that will be a 4-1 lead for them. Maradona have been close throughout, but not quite able to clutch up. I think it's that round number 4, wasn't it? Could have been 2-2 at that point, but then it was 3-1. It's a big swing round, and all of a sudden, if you're Maradona, you're in a tough spot. I've just noticed Pains is on like 60 ping as well.
That's a rare sight.
I'm not gonna look into it too much, but imagine it was a bit lower.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what the compensation's like.
No, that's the thing. Regardless of what people might say, lower ping is better, I assure you, on this game. It really, really is. Simply ask my old teammate Jim Bob. Oh my goodness. From Australia.
I'll make sure to ask Jim Bob. Oh, from Australia?
Yes, Australia.
Hear me. He'll still be trying to fight the 1v1s now, is he?
Exactly, bro. Drop shot top there, Chris. And, a quick pickup from Pains, as we saw with HPJC. Marsh and Strikers are just walking in very comfortably, though, picking up the kills. Pains got out, though. He's not got his Nasher again. So he's going to try and make that one work. He's got the Lancer, though, to keep everyone back, and a Nasher drops in front of him. He wants it. He's picked it. Dragon's going to take advantage, though. He does get the down. Marsh trades out with Crisis. 1v1, Dragons versus Crisis. Oh, hello, Bounces. Appears out of nowhere. Finding Dragons. Crisis left alive. E-Hill for Maradona.
Well, there you go, then. They do get a hold of it. I know who's saying that Payton's on a literal talent level in terms of his gun skill, etc. is up there above and beyond. Decision making sometimes is maybe a little bit wayward. Lucas is going to fold his sword though, and then all of a sudden Crisis is there to help out. And Crisis has really been there with Pains at times, hasn't he? And he's a big reason as to why Maradona may get this round under their belts yet. This 1-win condition is still there. Maradona start to tick it in. Cougars and Co will be able to make it, but can the kills follow here for Apollo 24 to keep themselves in the round? Strikers and Co have to keep going. They're just running into gunfire though. Marsh though can do and find the fight. Oh, that's a disaster. Pains is going to be dropped by his own teammate. All of a sudden, Maradona keep this fight up. Apollo 24 is still in it. Cougars trying his best to stay alive. Dragons from behind. That's a great snap from Cougars. And Dragons is there to clean things up. They will survive. But is the damage already done as Maradona now take about a 90-point lead or so. He will go over towards Apollo 24. I'm curious to see which way the win condition goes though. It should still be with Maradona, surely.
Pains and Strikers shooting each other at the same time, flashing each other at the exact same time. Neck and neck fight. As every player starts to regroup here. Crisis with Pains. As well. Good point. 3 seconds in the clock. I wonder if Pains going to break the triple. Pains trying to clutch up on the second. Crisis is here. Marsh will get it down and just about hold on to the hill.
Hold on, and that win condition does go over towards Apollo 24, although it is very, very close. It's a good job they clutched up it deep. Drop's going to be coming up in a second, I was about to say, and there you go. Marsh gets out very... Oh, he didn't mean to do that, did he?
That is a misroll.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want your drop shot player misrolling in the shot grenade. He is going to get out after Maybe wasting a shot, but they use Dragons as bait here. Yeah, that's a bit of a misplay from Marshall, though. Oh, he's not able to punish them either. That is disastrous. 20 seconds or so for Marsh. The swarm win condition as well. Cougars has to overextend over towards D. The one cap will do it for Maradona, though. D cap and F, this is going to be around for them. Going to be 4-2. Oh, I love it.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Gears 5. If you ever wanted to know how this game's played and how it's supposed to be played. I know Dragons wasn't playing properly and just standing still, but there you go, in a nutshell. But no, coming back to Marsh there up top, I question almost everything he did there. From the misroll to the drop shot into the middle, just assuming that the player was still there rather than knowing that his teammate was getting pushed completely underneath his feet. Baiting Dragons, I would have liked to see a quick revive, honestly, because he wasn't that red. He would have been behind Dragons. Maybe, I think he was just baiting the drop shot push instead, but that didn't work out. They just didn't take the bait, and he fired the drop, and it just didn't connect. Like, everything went wrong for him there, unfortunately, but nonetheless, 4-2. Maradona's still in it.
Still in it. And they close out some of these rounds. Oh, that is went in the opposite direction. Apolo 24 will find a lot for this push over towards E. All of a sudden, it's actually just Toomey left. Needs to try and stay alive. He has done. Apolo 24 can't quite make this push yet, but when they do start to make the push, they are going to have the drop shot in hand as well. Who gets maybe a little bit overzealous with that push, and now Dragons will have to back on down with this. Apolo 24 saying not worth. Back on out.
Nice drop. Catching out bounces. One more drop to play with. Over the top could get maybe a double. Oh, he is risky. He is risky coming this close. Is it necessary? I'm not sure. He's got a drop on his back. His teammate is there to support him. And to be honest, he has an extra drop shot now to deal with up top, or to utilize up top. Strikers can stay alive. Yes, he can. Excellent shotgun in from him. Perhaps this could lead into a triple.
Looking that way. Dragons now making the push. Bleed out going to come through for bounces in a second as well. These kills are starting to go the direction that they need to, and well, unfortunately, off spawn, you've got a drop shot to run into as well. This will be a map number 1 in the grand finals for Apolo 24. This would be, as far as I'm aware, 7 in a row if they get this one done, or is it 6? I mean, at this point, we're losing count, which just says a lot, but Apolo 24 are up in this grand final 5-2 on a silo, but it has to be said there was a couple of rounds here and there that Maradona could have come out on top of. There's a couple of them that Apolo 24 really did have to clutch up on, which makes the 5-2 scoreline not necessarily flatter them, but it didn't feel as comfortable as that, Toby.
Yeah, again, I think this is one of those maps where the round count really doesn't do it justice. Apolo really had to clutch up on a number of rounds, and yeah, I mean, that's a testament to their usual skill, right? It is usually it's what they tend to do, but yeah, Maradona had to make them work for it in the first place. It wasn't the same as a 5-2 against a different team, you know? It was really a hard-fought game. I don't think Maradona would be too unhappy with that as a result. They did play really well. Keep your heads held high, I'd say, for the second one. Yes, some rounds could have been clinched one way or another, but I think for the most part, it wasn't so much them making mistakes. It was more so Apolo 24 clutching up.
Yeah, I think so. At the same time, though, I think if you're Maradona in that situation, you sort of say to yourselves, we could have probably got a couple more rounds there if we didn't let them clutch up as well. You have to say it at the same time. It's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, isn't it? It's sort of, you can put it on two sides of the coin if you're Maradona on that one. Could we have played it better? They played it well, that sort of thing. But still, relatively close, the rounds all the way through. We're going to be going over to Vazgar next, which I kind of really, really like for the side of Apolo 24. So I'm not feeling it here for Maradona. This might be another week without a win for them, and we may well be looking at Apolo 24 for however many in a row that they've won at this point.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Is it 6 or 7? I need to find out.
They're on 6 in a row. If they win this, they're on 7.
Okay, 7 in a row. I mean, as I said, I've lost count at how many they've won at this point. It's been fantastic from them all the way through. And we're going to be hard-pressed to see if anybody's going to be able to beat them in the finals, of course, which I am told we are going to have confirmation of dates, hopefully, through the week. we'll be letting you know within the next week or maybe 2. I'm covering all bases here. This is myself just presuming that Matt's going to be in my ear like shut up now.
Carry on.
But hopefully, yeah, he hasn't said anything, so I mustn't have said anything wrong yet. But hopefully we will have information on that very, very shortly as well. But at this moment in time, it's the quest to find anyone who can beat Apolo 24, and I'm hard pushed to say that without maybe roster changes or HPJC being there to maybe push them all the way, I don't know if there is going to be anybody to do that. The only way I can maybe see it happening, and I'm not going to necessarily put anything into contention here, but maybe if an HPJC Maradona sort of hybrid squad can come through, a team that's really putting in the time, that's the kind of deal I think we're looking at here for somebody to be able to potentially beat them.
Yeah, maybe. It would seem like that would be like two ends of the spectrum joined together, right? You have like the best on one side and the best on the other, and they come and meet in the middle to make some kind of hybrid team.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the play. Maybe if you're trying to make a dream team to take down what seems like a dream team already in Apolo 24, maybe that is the play. You get the 2 best players from either team, you join them together, then you have that consistency and the ability to scrim and practice more often. So you end up with a better team overall as a result. Maybe that's the play. I'd be open to seeing it for sure. Most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an idea on my side of things. You may well take it or not. Yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's becoming a bit difficult to see them being beat now. And for all that, I love the guys on Apolo 24. I want to see competition across the board every single week. This is probably the quickest that we've got through some of the games. I don't know if it's just the specific matchups that we have had this week, but it's been an interesting one, hasn't it? It's been very much one-sided. I think it's all been 2-0 every single one we've seen.
But they've been really good games nonetheless, right?
They have been really
close
tight
games.
Yeah, they have been close maps.
I think everyone's just doing their picks and bans really fast as well.
Yeah, we have
breaks.
You know what it
super
is?
Short,
it's because Breaker was out in quarterfinals. That's why we've been flying through. Bloody Welsh people, I tell you.
Hey, but I mean, TJ was doing really well as well today. So Welsh have done well, nonetheless, I think.
Okay, represent. Well, I do believe the map is starting up, so we're going to be heading into Vasgar in just a second. Okay, well, we'll be heading in a couple of minutes at least by the sounds of things. But I don't know. I don't know which, if I'm looking at this for Maradona and sort of feeling anything good for them at this point. I'm not, especially on Vasgar. I think it's one of those maps where we consistently seen Apolo 24 looking very, very good on it. I don't think I've seen them lose it yet. And I don't feel as if it's going to be Maradona at this time. But on the other side of the coin, Maradona, this is their first week with the new player and Toomey in there. And I think he's played quite well from what I've seen. Not that I necessarily feel as if Marco had played badly whenever I was watching them. But at the same time, I feel as if Toomey's filled those shoes very well.
I think so. I think Toomey's done really, really well. Honestly, he's been off the radar for a lot of players, I think, in the community. Some thought the pickup was random and strange. There was rumors of other players potentially joining that roster. But yeah, I mean, I kind of share that same sentiment. I think Marco is doing his job for the most part. I never really thought of him as a really big weak link or anything. But I think it was just maybe a one bad week or 1 or 2 bad weeks in a row, and then Maradona made the change, unfortunately. Which is sad in a way because it's kind of like the Italian family that have come out from nowhere, rose from the bottom and come to the top, right? But sadly, that kind of like family was quickly ended, I guess, on 1 quarter of that roster. So yeah, unfortunate to see, but nonetheless, Maradona in the grand final. So who blames them? I guess at this point, they're doing really well this week with the new roster.
Yep, I think for them it's a case of wait and see what happens as the weeks do go on. But here we go into map number 2. Aggressive stance coming up from Apolo 24 on this side of things, but I believe that's just mostly down to the spawns. Both teams postured, ready to make a move. Smoke's going to go out. That's going to allow Apolo 24 to get a little bit more room here. Take up a bit more ground. Very much a similar scenario over towards B. Both teams not in a position to do much. It looks like Maradona, the first one's threatening over there, but here we go. Apolo 24 getting things going with the Lancers. They're being good shots going to be coming out of them. Toomey's very, very weak as well. should be dealt with here. Very, very well played from Apolo 24. Has said they just have so many different ways to win, but this fight's important. Pains could do with taking down his ultimate dragons here. Staying alive. It's probably just as good.
Swarm domination blinking. Dragons versus Pains. What a showdown this is. Oh, wow. What a reaction shot from Pains. A true one at that. Pretty much through behind him and over a cover or through it seemed like. But here we go. Another 1B. Off past teammate. Pains is the victor. Makes it look easy. Barely any damage put his way despite
so
Marsh
good.
having cover advantage and right hand. My goodness me. Well played.
Ugh.
Disgusting.
Ugh.
Filthy. Is he going to do it again?
I mean, there's quite a few members of Apolo 24 here. He's going to probably have to back on down and does so. Smart play from Pains. Shots into Cougars. Oh my god.
Perfect.
He just doesn't miss.
He does not miss.
Oh,
and that's the thing, right? Everyone just talks about his movement, but it's the fact that he moves and hits his shots in the most accurate way possible, where he can get the one shot or the two shot constantly. That's what truly shines for him, because that's the most difficult part. Anyone can touch A and tap it as fast as they can, but whether they can actually be functional with it, unpredictable, and set themselves up for the shots, that's a whole different ball game, and Pains makes it look easy.
Make the transition over towards C now. B going to stay in the hands of Apolo 24. The win condition is with them. It's a slight lead, but here we go. Maradona now making the push there, forcing them out. Crisis was actually the one to drop Pains, who is now going to be dropped very, very quickly. They will pick him back up, but Toomey may have put him... Oh, sorry. Bouncers may have put himself in the pants. Sports or Strikers. That's an unfortunate series of events on the Maradona side. Apolo 24 will lock in this domination. And that is... that's unfortunate. Maradona were in a bit of a situation there where they could have actually won that round, and maybe just a couple of little misplays, a couple of gunfights don't go their way, and all of a sudden, Apolo 24 won the round.
Yep. The nature of escalation, right? One team wipe, especially when it's 4v4 on a map like Vazgar, and it can just turn into a trouble cap just like that. Very unfortunate for them. But it really does teach, Maradona and other teams that when you play against the likes of Apolo 24, if you're going into the enemy spawn, you need to make sure that it either works out or you've got some insurance. It's super, super risky to be that far and, kind of put yourself in a position where you get pinched or killed literally by spawn protection.
Bouncer's going to have to back on down. This has been a much more aggressive start to the round than we've seen in round number 1. And if you're Maradona, you need to win that fight over towards B, as C is now being locked. Nobody else there to help win it as well, so going to come down to Marsh over that side of things, but the rest of the team are here over towards C to try and defend. They are going to be able to defend here as well. Marsh is going to deal with Crisis, so we'll lock in B. In B now is what Apolo 24 have, but it could have been worse for Maradona, has to be said. Marsh is in danger.
Yeah, he was certainly in danger there. Perfect angles taken by Maradona. They'll get the B hill back. And now, with the home hill and the B hill, what's the next play for Maradona? Toomey not in a good position yet. Can't go down and doesn't. Here comes the push from Apolo. I think numbers are on the side. Yet 3 of them are there. They get the... Oh, Crisis gone down process. This is going to be a push potentially from Apolo. Stuck in a corner. They can't let them go wide. They can't give up the angle completely. Strikers has too much cover there. Crisis, though, he does get a kill. But will quickly follow. And now Toomey's on his own. Flying to what is essentially the second half home hill. And will get taken down also.
Oh, domination. Ticking in. Just about there.
Just as that was going on. Tunnel vision from his casters there, but no. Apolo 24 have it worked out.
And it kind of shows what Maradona were doing well there, was staying alive as long as they possibly could, because their other 2 teammates pushed B and A simultaneously, and all of a sudden it was nearly something on the cards for them. That would have been a sensational way to win the round. Apolo 24 kind of in control here, though, as the push towards C is going to start coming through as well. They should be able to clean that up, though, if you are Maradona. Crossfire coming in from The other side of things here as well. Domination starting to tick as the fights are won. If you're Maradona, you need to get over towards A very, very quickly. Two of them alive right there, and they don't get a touch. Oh, that's a tough one to take, and it's a one they should have at least extended. Apolo 24 2 to the gun now.
Yeah. I think, again, it really just shows Apolo 24's flexibility that they can be down in such a way, kills-wise, and then just like that, flick a switch and turn into a triple cap out of nowhere, despite Maradona's hard work throughout and success on initials.
Yeah. Not ideal for Maradona, that. I'm usually thinking to myself, I might be off the match of the day. I might have time to make a 3-course meal before tonight.
Set up the match of the day.
We've absolutely flown through the broadcast tonight. Every single game has been pretty quick, but they have been close ones.
Yeah, really entertaining.
It's been a lot of 2-0s, but they have been close maps. Toomey now. Not in the best of spots, but he does have company over towards A. Yeah. This is going to drop to Toomey now. Probably going to follow, let's be honest. Yes, he is. Apolo 24 seem to be playing Maradona like a bit of a fiddle right now. Christ is going to push forward. He seems to have the player in a bit of a bad spot, but the problem is that he has to now make this push over towards Dragons. The rest of his team are there as well, but Crisis has went massive over towards B. Maradona keeping themselves in this one thanks to a big play out for Crisis.
Ooh, can Cougar save the day? Perfect shotgun against Bounce, and he finds Toomey as well, who's stuck on the staircase. Such a good job from Cougars, and he's had an amazing Sunday this week too. Let's look at Crisis. Can he clutch up on the B hill? No, he cannot. Dragons will take him down. Score lead towards Apolo. Cougars forced to back out and stuck in a corner. Surely he won't be able to survive long. Pains onto him. There he goes. Apolo 24, they're still holding on to 2.
Yeah. So very much in control of this round. Solid 70-point lead, but a big surge of players coming in from the Maradona side over towards C. Striker's now going to make the push as well as Apolo 24 in the first gunfight. It's a big one over to C here. Look at the overextension coming in over towards A. If you're a Maradona, you need to win this fight. You're not going to. The domination will follow. That's a 3-0. Marsh trusts his teammates to win over at C. They do so. And they lock in another round. 3 to the good now.
Yeah, looking a little bit more convincing, it's safe to say, for Apolo in this map than the previous. It's just taking triple caps wherever they can, I think, honestly, at this point in time. Based on what we've seen from Apolo 24 historically on Vazgar and in EGL Series Open, this is one of their strongest maps now. And that's really, really difficult to deal with for other teams because it very rarely is a well-practiced map for teams in Europe, generally speaking. A lot of teams like to lean into Asylum, Foundation, especially since it came in. I think at this point it's kind of a really good advantage for Apolo 24 in the picks and bans process because it's just an extra map that a team really has to deal with when trying to be strategic against his team.
Well, let's start to round number 4. Flash going to come out. And on the other side of things as well. Nobody able to make the move they want to yet, but Apolo 24, the ones being the aggressors. Bouncers going to go down now. They can take their time to deal with Toomey, who's actually done really, really well to find the shots. Cougars will also go with the meat shield, but look at the other side of the map. Crisis and Pains have also dropped down. Cougars buttering Toomey up, but the longer this goes on, kind of the better for Maradona, as now Cougars can eventually make this push, but Bouncers and Co, are they going to be here in time? Marsh is here to help out. Just going to go for the decap. Cougars going to leave this one to Marsh to do something, but the ball talk is out, and he's just going to offer support from here. Bouncers going to take shots after dealing with Marsh. The rest of Apolo 24 are on the way, though.
Super accurate.
Here to try and, I mean, yeah, he's done fantastically well there, just to keep them at bay at least. Cougars backing on down 4 members of Maradona, putting their lances down, but
Oh,
here's a problem. Dragons on the outset is going to be able to pick up C, but A very much in Maradona's control too.
yeah. It's just good from Dragons, though, to be able to sneak in at the right time to just get that cap, just to split up Maradona a little bit from the home hill. Now, Apollo 24 should have a 3v3 in this home hill, I believe. Great flash on the Crisis. Toomey close to hand. Tries to go for the up A. Marsh not having any of it. Haynes, meanwhile, though, will pick up one. Bounces, gets two. Well played from him. And now a simple 2v1, hopefully, for these guys. Yep, they will find it against Strikers. Now, thanks to a number of kills from Maradona, they're going to be looking for a triple cap here. Oh, Paynes didn't get that break, though. Not ideal. It would have been a lot nicer given the score. He's going to be hunted down nonetheless.
Shots in from Dragons across the map. Apollo 24, I said, even with the one cap, we'll take this round away, especially with Maradona being decapped over towards C. Momentarily, at least, anyway. Payne's trying to make the push. Oh, he is going to spot Dragons down low. Big gunfire for him to win. There's still potential for Maradona to get on the board here in round number 4. 15 seconds or so to tick on down. Crisis going to win the first gunfight. And they need to take the time, but also have to rush. These now being won. It's about to fight over towards A. Or has it been won? He's doing his best. Oh! That's not going to happen, and it will be Apollo 24 to lock in a 4th round in a row. And it's going to put them on the precipice of 6 Open Series weekend wins in a row. 4-0 now.
I mean, at this point, what can you do? Apollo 24 are looking so strong. Really, really formidable. And just as we saw Maradona doing really well in their semi-final match, and Apollo 24 doing super well, not super well, but having a inconsistent performance, shall we say, round count-wise, against 3x Rowdy. You think, oh, maybe, just maybe Maradona can do the upset here. But Vazgar really is turning out a little bit different to that. And it's looking like a potential 5-0.
It really is. 2 caps going to come through here. All the side of Apollo 24. Just position themselves a little bit better. But look at this aggression coming out of Maradona. It's a full wrap around over towards D. Striker's in a bit of a bad spot here. He's going to get dropped, but he does have Dragons for company. Bounce is going to go down to another player on Apollo 24, and it just seems to have fallen apart. All of Maradona momentarily dead. Apollo 24 going to set themselves up towards F. There's D now coming in here as well. Maradona are going to be able to break through, but they need to win this fight, and they need to win it quite cleanly. Bounces is dropped. He should be picked back up. The fight continues. Maradona need to get something going here. The down's only coming in from the side of Apollo 24. Crisis is dead. Kugas can now make this push around the outside. Does have still some work to do. Paynes is going to find one, but Strikers finds one himself. Ooh. Bounces is going to be dropped, and it's nearly very clean from the side of Apollo 24. Paynes will follow, but off the respawn here, Maradona. Crisis. It is one for Maradona. It is another weekend of dominance. Ticks in for Apollo 24. 5-0. 7 in a row for the side of Apollo 24. Very dominant in the European region right now. They're above and beyond here, Toby.
They are. MVP to Cougars that, in the end, 16 kills. Wow. And just that last 30 seconds from Cougars there as an individual just really goes to show that perhaps why this team is the best in Europe. That was phenomenal play that I was watching from him. How smart he was playing each of his engagements. The up and down on the mantle as though he was on checkout nest or something of old. Baiting with the flashbangs, the back A, the push. Truly incredible. And he's just fit into this team so well. Of course, if we remember back to Rated R, he wasn't in that team originally. Paynes was. And of course Slazen as well, but he's kind of new to this team, or was new to this team. He's definitely cemented his spot in this roster going forward, and I'm just so impressed with him as an individual and his team overall, because it just really goes to show that these are just the best individuals right now in Europe, and as a team, They're the most practiced and they're playing the best. They deserve 7 in a row for sure.
100%. Let's have a look at the bracket, see what the route to 7 looked like. Once again, Apollo 24 will get it done. Patrick and the Fossil, unfortunate through in the boys. I heard that was the hardest game Apollo 24 had all night. Rubber Ducky Mafia, in the quarterfinals. And then 3 times Roddy in the semi-final. 3 times Roddy, maybe a team to keep an eye on as time does go on. But then Maradona looked very, very good until the grand final where levels were just shown. Apollo 24 just looking... And they look unbeatable. They really, really do. Maradona couldn't get it done. They are champions once again. As mentioned, 7 in a row. Where does the rest of Europe start at this point, Toby? That's the question. Where do they start?
That's the $1 million question, right? What do you do? How do you beat them? I do not know at this point. I think you need a all-star roster. It seems like
cast a God squad.
That's the play. That is the play. If mice are allowed, we would still not be able to win. I assure you. No, I don't know what you do at this point because they are the best team in Europe. They are dominating. As I said, individually, they're all on fire. They're all playing the game constantly, whether that be ELOs, whether that be scrims, whether that be 1v1s. Truly incredible stuff from all of them. Super impressive, and they deserve to be there. I don't know what's next for their rivals. I think Maradona are probably pretty happy with the performance, mind you. Of course, shout out to Toomey for performing very well today for his team, for his new team, slotted in there quite nicely. And for HPJC, a very difficult week, the most difficult week, yeah, I'm sure, actually, given their performance against not only was it not Apollo 24, but it was Maradona. It was 0-2 for them. So what the future will hold, I'm not sure, but I don't think Apollo 24 is going anywhere just yet.
No, I don't think so. Thank you very much, Toby, for joining me this evening. Very short one, as mentioned. We get the whole quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals done within 3 hours. So, I mean, that's just a flyer in terms of broadcast. But the games have been very, very good. Thank you to everybody in the chat who did hang out this evening. We only have 2 more Open Series weekends to go. So if you do want to sign up, if you do want to get that EGLP ready for the finals, please do sign up within the next couple of weeks. Put yourself in the best spot possible heading into the big tournament, which should be announced within the next week or 2. But once again, thank you very much for everybody for watching. We'll be back same time, same place next week, 5 p.m. at twitch.tv/EGL. Get yourself signed up for week number 9 of the Open Series, and we will see you for that. Catch you then.